I got my 1,000th point on senior night when you guys were there.
Yes, sir.
That's
I remember
right.
that.
1,000-point
Yeah.
club.
But I had already broken the steals record way earlier in the season. I own it by like 30.
Seriously?
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
What kind of press did you guys
Love
run?
it.
2-2-1 with a little relaxation or what?
We ran. It was kind of a lot like Catholic. Like we ran the 2-2-1. That was our primary one. But then sometimes we'd have somebody in the ball and we trap in the corner, stuff like that. It was a lot of different stuff.
Yep. 32 red, go get him.
Yeah, exactly. Like it was. We had a dude. He's a legendary coach, and he learned how to press from Rick Pitino.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. So Rick Pitino
I've heard of him.
came down. Yeah. Rick Pitino came down and did a clinic, and my coach went there, and he was a high school coach at the time. And I mean, ever since then, he's just been pressing. And so coming from Catholic, I fell right into place and knew exactly where I needed to be. I've been pressing my whole life. We've been pressing since 4th grade.
Right.
So,
That's what Patino does that on his women too.
exactly.
Boom.
Awesome,
man.
That was over my head right there.
Well, dude, thanks for joining us. Thank you very much for joining us. Welcome to the Bodacious Exchange. For those of you who are watching this for the first time, welcome. Shout out to you. Please like, subscribe, and follow. We've got Brian Hewitt here coming all the way from Bristol, Tennessee right now. And this is going to be hopefully an ongoing segment for us. We're going to be talking about college basketball a lot. We're going to dive into a little bit of NBA. Obviously, we had the draft. We've got free agency going on. A little bit about Hewitt. Hewitt, we've known for a long time. If you're in Lexington, you definitely know him. He had a lot of big games in his high school career. Very good high school career playing basketball. On into college, former D2 athlete, currently still holds the record in steals. The defensive guy coming in here. And he's also a member of the 1,000-point club down at King. Is it King College or King University?
They actually changed right after I graduated. So I rep King College, but then they changed it to King University now. So.
Okay. Well, right on. Yeah, and you bounced around though. You were mid-continent, right? You were mid-continent for a while.
First year is mid-continent, and I did really well. I got freshman of the year, and then it was the worst college in the world.
Okay.
Yeah, we played.
Honestly,
go ahead.
Sorry, yeah, I had forgot that you went to Mid-Continent because you played with Calhoun there, right? And Pete Gifford?
Yeah, he was my roommate. Yeah.
Wow.
We went down there, played with Pete Gifford, and Calhoun was there, and Juron from Tate's Creek, the point guard from Tate's Creek, that was really good.
Thomas.
Okay.
Yeah. Juron Thomas. He was like, we had a
middle school with him,
class. Like we had guards everywhere. And we did fine, but we weren't. I mean, we got killed. Like it was. We ended up being like 16 and 15 on the year, but I did really well. I got freshman of the year, and then just didn't want to be there anymore. Everybody transferred out. Calhoun came back home and didn't even play basketball anymore, and then I transferred to King. So
was that just a function of the university itself, the basketball program at the university, just kind of a combination of both?
It was the entire university. Like it was a pretty new university, and they didn't even have their own gym. We played at a local high school.
What?
Yeah, it was bad. We had like our practice floor. We practiced mainly at the gym, but our practice floor was like that plastic tile in like a warehouse.
Oh, wow. No. Yeah, so I get it. I totally get it. We didn't
practice there that much, but still, it was it was an experience, that's for sure.
That hurts my knees just thinking about it.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So yeah, I transferred and then played at King for 3.5 years. So it was good.
Yeah. So again, welcome. Welcome to the show. The first question that I gotta ask. So, I'm more of a college basketball fan this year. Obviously, and this is a whole other conversation too. We might get to a couple stories right here. Duke Blue Devils, go Duke. Anyway, so Cameron Indoor Stadium.
Say something to make fun of you for that, but like the joke in itself, it just
I know that's what I'm saying.
Just to be
said. I got this ring. I'm pretty sure Kentucky's got 7 more rings. So it's whatever, you know.
We got 5. We got 5.
Yeah, it's cute.
Yeah. Cute. Yeah, we're on the way. We're on the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you know, obviously with you know, coronavirus going on right now. You know, with coronavirus going on and affecting all of our lives, and especially sports, you know, Cameron Indoor Stadium this year, you know, for example, there's going to be no fans there. And this is something that Keith and I, you know, talked about as far as college football goes and football in general. I didn't really necessarily think that the football season was going to make it through. Obviously, we still got some time. NFL is a different story, but college-wise, I just didn't think. And now, I mean, there's, you know, been 17 plus games that have been postponed. How do you think the college basketball season looks this year in the midst of coronavirus?
Honestly, I think D1 will happen. Because they have the budget to have all the protocols and everything. They have the budget to test. Maybe not the low majors, but I mean certainly the Dukes, the Kentuckys, the Kansases, they'll play a season. Not sure about the tournament happening. They might have to. Somebody suggested a 1 location tournament, and it's 64 teams. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's what they're planning currently. Is they're just going to do they're going to do a sole location for the entire NCAA tournament.
That's going to be really, really difficult with that many teams. I mean, it was difficult enough to see 16 teams in the NBA trying to do it, and with 2 courts. I can't imagine doing a 64 team tournament in 1 location. 68 now that there's 4 playing games, I guess, right? So, but with the budget the D1s have and the revenue, the money is the big issue. I mean, UK, Duke, Kansas, like I said, those high market teams are most of their revenues coming from TV. I mean, granted, they get a lot of money from attendance and all that stuff, but most of their revenue comes from TV. And fans in the stands not stopping them from playing on TV. So I think they'll still have a season. They'll figure it out eventually with the tournament. I mean, that's a long way away. They're already talking about a vaccine, so hey, maybe in March they have a tournament like it's normal. So you don't know. But
yeah, it's going to be really interesting. You know, I mean, I'm not sure about UK, but I mean, Wednesday of this coming week, Duke has their first game against Gardner-Webb. I mean, that's, you know, obviously there's no exhibition games, you know, there's no warm up, no nothing. We're going right into the season. And it kind of blows my mind that here we are Wednesday, we get, you know, one of the first college basketball games. How many F-bombs do you think they're going to drop live on TV before they shut off the audio?
I mean, that is a great question. I mean, it's amazing that you don't hear more already, because I mean, people can read lips.
Oh yeah,
but I mean, Coach K, Coach Cal, they're all bad about it. I mean, none of them have clean mouths. But
one thing I definitely noticed watching the NBA postseason, or just the bubble in general, was a lot of the announcers would get cut and the whole audio would get cut because they just run it on like a 15 or 30-second delay or whatever, so that when somebody does scream, you know, drop an N-bomb or an F-bomb or something,
or maybe
like,
bitch ass white boy, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, right. But yeah, you'll just hear a lot more silence, I think, because they'll just silence that out. I want to take that comment and run with it, but we're gonna hold the NBA till later. So I'll hold up on that for now. I got some. I love all the action that's going on in NBA free agency, like off-season time, especially trying to get it all in such a condensed time period. I love it. It's been an exciting couple of weeks, man.
It's been a whirlwind.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so we got college opening.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just pumped.
Go ahead, my bad.
We got college starting on Wednesday. I mean, the Cats, obviously I'm a UK fan. I come from Lexington. I grew up, rooting for the Cats. It's funny, when I was working at TQL, a UNC fan tried to attack me because I was like, okay, you were born in Lexington. You have no family from North Carolina. Nobody went there, but you're a Tar Heels fan, die hard. And then he's like, well, you didn't go to UK, so you're an idiot for rooting for them. I'm like, there's no professional sports team in my state, and I grew up like 5 miles from the university. So I think my fandom is justified there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
So I think that's my cue to come on in and give my explanation.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, you've got, yeah.
So for me, there is only one excuse, because it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. I grew up in Lexington, Kentucky, obviously the home of the Kentucky Wildcats, and my father, my mother, huge UK fans. My father especially, he'd be on the edge of his seat every game. Wild kitty cats. And my sister graduated from there, my brother graduated from there, or my brother got his master's from there. And flashback, growing up, I liked everything that my brother liked. He's 10 years older than me, so I was very, very young, easily influenced. And growing up, he went all the way through Catholic private school. The two universities that you look to the most growing up in that atmosphere are Duke University and Notre Dame. Obviously, maybe throw a Boston College in there or something like that, just because it's a hardcore Catholic university. But
is Duke a Catholic university?
No, it's a private though. Private and Catholic, I feel like, but really, I mean, I don't know. I've always got that feel.
It's a stretch.
Yeah, I always got that feel that they were like, growing up, I thought they were a Catholic university, but I mean, just
I don't know, man. Duke students seem pretty liberal to me, honestly. Like,
yep.
They do,
especially that lacrosse team.
Oh, let's not get started on that. Let's not get listen. They were acquitted. Okay,
no, I'm drinking. Everyone. Come on,
they were acquitted. They were acquitted.
Yeah, so was OJ. That doesn't mean anything.
Oh my
hey, if it don't quit, or if it don't fit, you must quit.
Right.
You know. Yeah. So anyway, to sum it all up, I grew up a huge Duke fan and Notre Dame fan. So in our household, we watched all three teams. Now, at the same time, I do love UK basketball. And I know people say that that's probably impossible, but I watch just about every game that the Cats play. And I genuinely hope that they do well all the time. Every football game for sure. I've had so many friends play for UK. I've had kids that I've coached play for UK for football. So
I definitely football game yesterday was a struggle.
Oh, gosh, so hard.
We were close
so
in the
hard
first quarter. Like I was like, yeah, this is going to be competitive, and it was not.
Yeah, well, we haven't had a true quarterback that can really move the ball down the field in quite some time.
I'm hoping that dude from Catholic comes in and does well.
We'll see.
That's where we disagree, though. I think we've had some pretty good quarterbacks recently, but we had this talk already. Like,
yeah, I mean more pocket passing, like Timmy C, just flinging the thing down the field. I thought
Andre Woodson was a good quarterback for UK.
I think, yeah, no, shout out Andre. Yeah, no, great guy. Absolutely. I think he was. But I'm talking elite.
I like Stevie Johnson
NFL.
too. That was my dude.
Stevie, yeah. I'm meaning more elite NFL caliber type quarterback. We just haven't had one in so long. But anyway, throwing it back to basketball. That's why I'm just
gonna, before we transition back, I'm a little uneasy about you calling we when you talk about Kentucky football. That just makes me feel a little bit weird.
I don't like it one little bit.
I don't like it at all.
You are a Notre Dame fan
and trying to say we like UK. No,
you are a Notre Dame football fan and a Duke basketball fan. Don't you include you in us, okay?
I like all their athletic programs. Thank you very much. The women's soccer, especially.
Oh yeah,
soccer girls. Yeah, no, both schools have good lacrosse teams. I played lacrosse,
Oh, yeah, by the way, I wanted to mention this. As soon as that lacrosse thing came out, Catholic got a lacrosse team, and Juan was signing up real fast. I'm telling you.
Strippers? What? And they'll make you famous?
I feel like his name is right on the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember it.
Who?
What's that?
The lacrosse player.
Oh, one of the most famous ones from Duke.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. She was a liar. She was she was a dancer, and I believe an escort, and she was also a liar. So
speaking of escorts for the Louisville recruiting staff, with the basketball recruiting, I gotta say my piece on this real fast. The fact that Rick Pitino says he knows nothing about it is absurd.
Yeah, as a college coach as well, because you spent time as a college coach, right? That's what you're still pursuing.
Yeah.
How do you not have a pulse on absolutely everything that's going on in your program?
I had a buddy do 1 year of GA for Rick Pitino, right? 1 year. And at the beginning of the year, they get the whole coaching staff, GAs, managers, everybody in a huge boardroom. And Rick Pitino says, is a quote from him. He said, "Say goodbye to your families and all your loved ones for the next 7 months because I own you. You will not pee without my permission."
Wow.
That's what he said. And so for him to say he didn't know something was going on in his program and he has that much control and that much say-so, there's zero chance he didn't know.
Garbage.
Yeah. Jeez. I wonder if he was gonna hold and shake it for him too.
Like, yeah, it was no.
I always got the vibe that Rick Pitino had like mafia ties. He just gives me that vibe of like a Don that's like calling shots behind the scenes and running shit. You know what I mean?
When he comes out with the whole white suit, you're like, oh, this is, I mean,
right.
Well, the same with Coach Cal, though, I guess I should say. Coach Cal looks like he's a greaser. You know what I mean? I love Coach Cal, though.
The hair.
Yeah. The hair is awesome.
Yeah.
Coach Cal's got a lot more personality than Pitino, and that goes a long way.
A lot more. Pitino seemed more, reserved and stuff. My brother actually graduated with Mike Pitino at Lexington Catholic. So it's funny because there's a picture. I walked right up to Pitino at the graduation, and I'm like, super young, and I'm like, "Hey, Coach, can I shake your hand?" And he's like, "Sure." It's like, "Sure, son, come over here. What's your name?" So I've got this picture of me like this with my hand, and I'm like, Pitino's in the background. He's like reading something, not paying attention. But
my brother graduated with Richard Pitino at Catholic. He was a couple years later.
Okay. Wait, what year did your brother graduate?
2000. He was part of the state champion or state runner-up basketball team and state Final Four soccer team.
Damn. Okay.
Wow.
Dude, he led the state in goals his senior year at Catholic.
Seriously?
Wow.
I didn't know that.
He was dirty.
That's awesome.
Man, I was going to say something real quick before we moved on from Louisville. It's growing up in Lexington, you kind of have this stigma towards Louisville that it's like, a classic rivalry. Like, oh, Louisville's terrible. I hate it. It's the worst city in the world. A lot of people say that and like have never really been to Louisville before.
Yeah.
So I was curious to see how a UK fan would be received going into Louisville. So like, for example, going into a barber shop, it's a different experience up here than what I was used to in Lexington. And I was getting my hair cut last week, and 3/4 of the barbershop are like diehard Louisville fans. And then you've got the one guy who grew up in Louisville that's like a Louisville hater and roots for UK the whole time. So I'm trying to kind of prod with these guys and see what the dynamic is around here. And it's like he was wanting to rip and make fun of Louisville the whole time. And they asked me what I thought. And I'm like, I just don't have the hate for Louisville like that because so much bad stuff has happened to their program recently. Like, it's not like maybe if they were beating us every year and they were going to the Final Four still and stuff, like that's not how it is though. It's like trying to kick somebody while they're down. It just, you get no satisfaction out of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, really, it kind of amazing how well they've done since all. I mean, it's just like turmoil, like in that program, and they've had some pretty solid seasons since. I mean, I can't imagine. Like, can you imagine being the one player on the team that's like no, guys, like I'm not gonna hook up with this escort because I gotta study the playbook, or it's just like I got finals tomorrow, and like the rest of the entire team is out just having a wild time, and then they all graduate, and you're the guy that didn't get any action at all, and then you're stuck with a season where you can't compete in the tournaments. Yeah, that would be terrible. It'd be terrible.
No, I got a few friends that down here that when I say I was from Lexington, they were like, "What? You couldn't get one recruiting visit to Louisville? Like, come on, man!" I was like,
"Oh wow,
would have been a good time."
Sorry, I'm not a McDonald's All-American. What do you want me to do?
Sorry about that. Yeah, I do have a problem hating Louisville though, just because one, it's our state, so I mean, it's like you just kind of root for Kentucky, but at the same time, in the past like 10 years. More in-state recruits go to Louisville than they do to Kentucky because Kentucky's like, I mean, that's how they recruit. They recruit the best from everywhere. And very rarely do they just say, all right, well, you're the best in Kentucky. Come on. They don't recruit like that. But
when they do it, usually works out pretty well. I mean, we've had some people fall flat, but just kind of off the top of my head, Derek Willis was great in 4 years. Dominique Hawkins.
The Madison. He's a Madison Central kid, right?
Yep.
Dominique Hawkins. Yeah.
He was huge his senior year. Good. I really liked that team. That was the team with Bam and De'Aaron and Malik Monk. And they went to the Elite Eight and lost to North Carolina, or was it the Final Four? Yeah. I had to work every game of that tournament. I'm still kind of salty about it, but yeah, it's funny that you bring that up, Hewitt. We've got 2 years ago is Mr. Basketball on our team this year. He sat out last year with a knee injury. Dante Allen, supposed to be like a sniper 3-point shooter. So I'm curious to see. We've got a lot of talent on our squad this year, though. So I'm really not sure he's going to see the court all that much, to be perfectly honest.
It just kind of depends on. It's one of those things like if a team plays zone against us or something, and you need somebody to pull them out of it. It's one of those things like I was in high school. Like we had amazing players, but sometimes they played zone and they needed some little white dude to shoot threes from God knows where. So it's the only reason I came in the game.
Yeah, man. I searched so hard to find some of that footage of whenever you came in off the bench at Mason County at Memorial Coliseum to drill those threes. It's amazing to me with how big of a game that was. I went back and found the articles, but I couldn't find any highlights, any video. No one's put it on YouTube. That's a game that I'm so surprised that someone has not put on YouTube. I mean, Lofton spent some time in the NBA, right?
Hold on. Let me just take a step back here before so everybody can know what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
When we were in high school, so I went to Dunbar. Juan and Brian both went to Lexington Catholic. Brian's team was playing. We were sophomores at the time. Lexington Catholic had a really good, pretty senior heavy team that year. Yeah. I think y'all were number 3 or something in the state at the time. Number 2. Perfect.
2. We only lost to one team in the state. It was Mason County. It was in the championship of our Holiday Classic.
Yeah.
And Lofton hit a almost half court 3 to tie it at the buzzer, and they ended up beating us in overtime to win the tournament at Catholic.
I'll never forget it. I never forget that I couldn't get into the game.
They turned away over 2,000 people at our gym.
It was I've never seen anything like it. It was a madhouse. It was like the amount of people outside around the school kind of reminded me of like a graduation times 10, just because of how close they were to outside the school and like the gym. But I'll never forget it. I'm walking up. I'm like, I go here. Like, I'm a student. Like, what do you mean I can't get in? No. We're at capacity a long time ago. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I missed that game because I could not get in.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I got there an hour before, like you're supposed to, for like warm-ups and everything, and the gym was almost completely filled. I went in the locker room and threw up. I was that nervous. It was like the first year I played varsity, and I mean, I had played in some big games, but nothing of that capacity. Like I I played my first game in varsity at any level was against Rajon Rondo and Josh Smith at Oak Hill, but it was like in a neutrals gym, and I mean it was packed because it was Oak Hill, but I didn't know anything. I didn't know I was even going to get in the game.
Right.
Like, all right, cool. This is fun. And I ended up scoring my first 5 points of my career in that game. I was pumped, but like from that point on, it was kind of numb. And then it got to that game at home against Mason County, and the crowd was unbelievable. It was, like I said, an hour before I threw up, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
Was that before or after the game at Memorial?
That was before, and the past.
So Memorial was your revenge.
Exactly. So the past 2 years we had a home and home game series with Mason County, and so the previous year they beat us in the championship of the Holiday Classic, and then we went to Mason County and beat them there. That was our freshman year. I wasn't on the team yet. So our sophomore year, we were scheduled to play them at home, and because of the capacity of Catholic, we moved it to Memorial Coliseum and a different night, so all the other city teams that were playing on Friday night wouldn't be playing on that night, so they can come to the game on Saturday.
Yeah, and Mason County had this dude, Chris Lofton. I remember we played him in football that year. He was a beast. He was almost Mr. Football too.
Yeah. And I believe his didn't his quarterback win Mr. Football? Dustin Grutza? He went to Cincinnati to play football.
He went to Cincinnati. I don't know if he won Mr. Football, but I mean, he was definitely in the running that year. He was solid as a quarterback. Yeah.
He was a stud basketball player too.
Yeah, Chris, you said as a quarterback, I thought you meant Chris. No, Chris played receiver, but he actually threw a touchdown pass against us. They ran like a quads formation, and he was in the back. So they threw a wide receiver screen to him, and then 2 of the receivers in front of him blocked, and the one guy went deep. So he caught the screen, took a step back, and bombed it deep. It was the only touchdown they scored on us. Yeah.
No, he was for sure an amazing athlete.
Yeah. So he ended up going to Tennessee to play. One of those guys in state that UK didn't go after for some reason.
It's because we didn't have a scholarship for him. Was
that the Billy Gillespie era?
Yes.
So dark times.
Yeah.
Billy G.
But we had an incredible recruiting class that year. I mean, we had Rob, I want to say like something Robbie Moss or something Bradley.
Ramel Bradley and all that crew.
Yeah, Ramel Bradley. That's it.
Smooth.
Yeah.
One of my friends says that when he was at UK, Ramel Bradley pulled a gun on him. Like very casually walks up to him, pulls a gun out of his pocket, and is like, "Hey, what do you have on you right now?"
Oh yeah, that's right.
Holy cow!
I know that story. I believe it.
But yeah, anyway, so Chris Lofton goes on to college to be like one of the greatest 3-point shooters in SEC basketball history.
For sure.
I don't know what ended up happening with his pro career, but I set this all up just to kind of set the stage for this game. Our sophomore years, Juan's over there in the Catholic section, me being a Dunbar guy. I was in the Mason County student section for that game.
Of course you were.
We didn't expect you to get in at all, but then of course we were cheering for you. Obviously, when you did get in, we were like, "Oh, it's my boy Hewitt!" Like, I don't like Catholic, but I'll root for him. Like, let's go. So we're like screaming in the middle of the Mason County student section for you. Like, but I don't know, Juan, do you remember how that game went? You kind of want to give us a breakdown of what happened there?
Well, I mean, first off, it's crazy. I know we touched on this a little bit off air the other day. It's crazy the caliber of competition back then versus now. I coached at Lexington Catholic football for 5 seasons, a year after college. And I mean, really in those seasons we're really competitive. The kids were, pretty good size, but since it just seems like everyone's gotten like miniature size, it's really odd. The competition isn't what it used to be. And the games, like there's not as extremely as competitive games as there were back then now. And I think this game is a great example. I can't remember of two high school teams doing this again, really, in the state of Kentucky.
No.
The game was so big, and it was on such a level. I mean, like we said, I mean that, you know, both high school basketball arenas were at capacity for so many games in a row that they had to move it to the University of Kentucky's campus, Memorial Coliseum, which is where the ladies play. The cap there, I want to say, is like 10,000.
It was,
you know, so I mean,
over 8.
Yeah, so you got over 8,000 people coming to see two in-state Kentucky high school basketball
regular teams
play. Yeah, regular season
didn't mean anything.
It just doesn't really, you know, happen anymore.
Oh, it meant something.
No, it did.
Yeah, it definitely did. And on top of that, it was televised.
Yeah, we did. We had televised and broadcasters, everything in that game. It was crazy.
What was your mentality going into that game, Hewitt? Did you expect to see the court at all? Had you been playing that year? Like walk us through your mindset.
Typically, I mean, this was late January, early February. We had already lost to them at the end of December, and almost every game that we had played through that season so far, toward the end of the first quarter or the beginning of the second quarter, I would get in. They would run a play for me, and I would get a shot off, and if I made it, I would play more, and if I didn't, I wouldn't play as much. I'd still get in a little bit more, but if I made that shot, I mean, all right, Hewitt's on. He gets to play a little bit more. Like, let's go. Let's ride with him. Because I don't know why. I know, and I'm not trying to brag on myself, but my coach thought I just made plays. And it was the weirdest thing because we had an incredible roster. Like, my team was unbelievable. Like, we had a starting 5, a second 5, and then me. I wasn't even in the second 5. So, like I said, it went through the whole first quarter. They'd sub in and out. I'd be ready, but they wouldn't sub me in. And then at the end of the first quarter, start of the second quarter, I would get in. They'd run a play, and then I'd play a little bit and see how I'd flow with it. That was what happened almost every game all year. This game, first quarter goes through, no clock. Second quarter, no burn. I get into halftime, I'm like, all right, I guess this game's way too big for me, and it's understandable. Third quarter goes out, no clock. I'm like,
and you guys were losing at halftime, right?
Yeah, we were down big. We were down by like 8 or 9 at halftime, and we just didn't play well at all in the first half. And then third quarter, we came out and blitzed them, and it was either we were winning or it was a tie ball game at the end of the third quarter. And so I don't want to take it away from Juan. Go ahead.
No, you've got the first person perspective here.
Well, I've just got the fans' perspective. And the only thing I was going to say is it was just nuts. And I don't remember very many games where I looked to the left and to the right. I turned around, I looked above me, and I looked below me. And it seemed like the entire student body. We didn't have very many students. I had more students in my public middle school than I did my private high school. Yeah. But we had about 800 kids, and it seemed like every single kid, even the faculty, was there. And I just remember being in the middle of that, being like, "Holy shit! Like, everybody's here! Like, it was cool. It was really cool."
And it was weird because one side was Catholic students, faculty, family, and everything. And on the same side, but like on the other end of the court, was Mason County student section. And the other side of the court was totally full, but it felt like neutral people.
It definitely
like
was
just
neutral.
Basketball fans.
Yeah.
And again, I make a point that we moved the game a day, so it wasn't on like that Friday night where all the high schoolers play, like all the inner cities teams play. We moved it to Saturday. So that was very good marketing and planning. But so I mean, it was packed. It was over 8,000. It was pretty awesome. But so end of the third quarter, we're tied or winning or something like that. And I'll never forget, 6.5 minutes left. Coach comes down and he looks at me and he says, "Hewitt, go make a play." I go, "What?" And then
you talking about right now?
Yeah. Wait, what?
I mean, in the game?
You see the score, right? Like what? What? And luckily I was sitting next to my favorite coach, one of my favorite coaches of all time, Nimbo Hammonds, big black dude. He played at He played at George Washington. He's from Bryan Station. One of the best coaches of all time. I mean, he is a great person. He's a head coach at Bryan Station right now.
Yeah, amazing person. I love him.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Was Salzman y'all's head coach at the time?
No, it was Bart Fleener.
Salzman
was only my head coach my senior year, but Bart Fleener was my coach this year, and he puts me in. And luckily, like I said, I was sitting next to Nimbo, and he hears me say what, and I don't think Fleener heard me say what, because if he heard me, he would have been like, "No, forget it, you're out."
Right.
He grabs me by the back of the jersey and like flings me up and throws me to the scores table. And I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, all right."
You would get your ass out there.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, "Oh,
get your 3-point shooting ass on the court."
So, and he is like that dude that is super motivational and just makes you believe in yourself. He's like, "Yeah, you can do anything. I don't care if you're 6'2" and white and slow. You're going to be able to play with the Demetrius Greens, the Harrison Mortons, the Chris Loftons. Like, you can go out there and hoop with any of them." And he made me feel like that most of the time. This time he did not. I was scared to death. But so I go in and I go in on a free throw. We go down and back twice, and then on the next play, we're tie ball game at this point, 63-63. On the next play, they're pressing us. I get the ball, scared to death, don't dribble, throw it back to Willie, which is another like all-state first team guard, and I run away from him. Like, I'm like, "All right, you break the press, you're awesome.
You take the ball, I'm out of here."
Yeah, I'm out. And I run, and for some reason, no one on Mason County follows me. Like, I'm wide open, and Willie throws this lob pass over top of 4 people over his great pass, and I catch it in rhythm. I'm pretty deep, but I'm catching it in rhythm, and I don't know what made me think I could shoot it, but I did, and man, that thing went down real pure. I mean, it was
real pure.
Yeah, like I didn't see the net move. So, I mean, everybody goes nuts. This little white dude's out there draining threes. It was awesome. So we get in the press. I almost break my ankle because Dustin Grusso crosses me. It was bad. Real bad. So then we play a few more minutes, and I get the ball, and I take 2 dribbles and pull up. And it was the Hewitt that I don't know if you still have this YouTube video, Keith.
Oh, I totally do, 100%. Yeah.
You came down and you did a YouTube video of the Hewitt, as you like to call it. It was like basically having a 2-on-1 and saying, "Forget a layup, I'm gonna pull up for 3."
Or a 1-on-0. Like,
well, yeah,
the Hewitt is a classic, because Hewitt and I played basketball together from 6th through 8th grade. And I know that's crazy because it's middle school, but we had a really good team. And like it was a lot of fun playing together. But that's Hewitt's go-to move. Like, dude's a straight 3-point assassin. Give it to him on a wide open fast break. He's gonna pull up from the 3-point line. And 9 out of 10 coaches are gonna rip you for doing that. But Hewitt was one of those players that's what he does. So you just gotta let him do what he does.
So I did that in this game, and I nailed another 3. And it was the second 3. It was about like 3 minutes left, and put us up by like 7. And couple more possessions go by, and I'm playing this whole time, and I was like, why am I still in the game? Like, this is crunch time. I shouldn't be in right now. It's 2 minutes left. And Lofton hits a 3 to put him down by 3 with a minute and like 6 seconds left. And Demetrius Green goes by a couple people on their press, breaks their press, and I'm standing there wide open all alone on the opposite side of the court. And Duna, as we called him back then, throws this overhand pass to me, and everybody's kind of the announcers are saying, well, we'll probably see them milk the clock and like stall for the rest of the game, make them shoot free throws. I had different ideas. I got that ball from our bench, and I got it in rhythm. It was nice, and my whole bench behind me stands up. They're like, "Oh, he's shooting this shit! Oh no!" And I mean, again, it was nothing but net, and Bart Fleener calls timeout so he can set up a defense. I'm sitting there pumping up the crowd. I'm going crazy. I'm flexing on people with no muscles at all. Like I'm like, oh, like yeah, and I have no, yeah, exactly. That was another chant that they had for me was flex them bones, flex them bones. So I'm there, and they get a picture of me doing this on the front page of the sports section the next day, and I'm like, oh, that looks not good. but I mean, and then we ended up winning the game, and it was like my coming out party in Lexington was that game. And after that, it was like, all right, Hewitt can play a little bit. Like he's a pretty good basketball player in Lexington. So it was a heck of a game, one to remember for sure.
But yeah, it was also crazy because just to give you an idea of like the effect that this game had on everybody, especially students and faculty. So Hewitt and I had a few classes together, and one of them that we had together, honestly, looking back, she was one of my favorite teachers, and she was so nice to me after we graduated. And I mean, what a woman, because I used to rip on her every day, straight to her face. Yeah, I mean, she had a good sense of humor, but she had it was just bad because this is an aside, but she had a chronic cough. She had like a terrible chronic cough. And like, I'm not even exaggerating. It literally would sound like this. She was like, she would cough. Normally she would be like, but then it would turn into no exaggeration. I'm still amazed that they let her teach, because honestly, sometimes it would get the best of her and she would go on a 15 to 20 minute tangent out of a 55-minute slot for class. It's like, I'm not learning anything except don't smoke cigarettes. You know, like filter tips. But anyway,
and
wonderful.
Juan would be in the middle of class acting like that too. Like she wouldn't be coughing, and he'd go. It's hilarious.
I was over here trying to trigger her to cough.
Exactly.
If I had like, if it was like during the football season and we had like a game and I wanted to just like, I don't know, like read our scouting report, I would just like, you know, screw off in class and get her off topic, you know, so just fluster. So I just start coughing and start doing it. She's like, do you need to leave the room? I'm like, no. Okay. I'll be all right in a minute.
It's just like 70.
Like she wasn't that old.
She was old.
Yeah. And again, looking back, God, I was such an asshole to her, but she a wonderful woman. Anyway, saint. She really is a saint. Yeah. Real quick, remember when she threw me out of class and she physically picked up my desk and pushed it like almost through it. And this is a small, petite woman. Like it was.
She was pissed.
Yeah, that was her boiling point. I tried to not get her to that again. But
what did you do?
I think it was just a cough, and then I was cracking all sorts of jokes. I was hollering at two different girls at that time, so I wanted to make them laugh, and they just both so happened to be in a class with me and Hewitt. Game over. So I think
Cornell Burbage was in that class as well. So it really was not a great class.
And then Blake breathed. I made him laugh so hard he was like spitting up almost. Yeah, I used to be a bit of a class clown. Nah.
Shocker. Why am I not surprised?
Yeah, shocker.
Yeah, I just like making people laugh and smile, man. People helping people, it's a beautiful thing. But anyway, getting to the point. Sorry, in such a roundabout way of telling it, but it was just so impactful, you know, that game and that moment, because that moment was just so. I mean, it really is. It's kind of something that you would write in a story, you know, or read, you know, in some, you know, crazy movie script or something. And probably 2 weeks after this, I know the entire week, she showed it to every class coming in. So she had this huge projector, and she was just like, listen, guys, I just want to start the class and just say go Knights. And you know, if you weren't at the game, which I'm pretty sure all of our students were there, I just want to, you know, I just want to play this highlight really quick. She would literally play like a 3-minute highlight. She would pause it. Whenever Hewitt was in there with us, she paused it and was like asking him questions.
Too much.
Oh man. So here we are just in class, supposed to be learning, great private school education, and we're watching highlights of Hewitt drain threes. Hilarious. But anyway, sorry.
I found the video of the Hewitt here. I
can't wait to see you, because you have a full beard and all sorts of facial hair. It's incredible.
I kind of cut it right to the spot, but just to take a step back here.
Yeah, look at this.
Wow. We did like a little interview beforehand. This was when I was bartending. I went a full 2 years without shaving. So like my beard was incredible, stupid, man. It was so bad.
It looked like you almost had a dreadlocks there for a minute. I was
he did. He had a full pony.
Well, I didn't cut my top hair either for 2 years. I just shaved the sides and the back. Yeah. Like Ann was hooking me up with haircuts.
Yeah.
She had dreadlocks at the time. We were a ridiculous looking couple. I lost a lot of street cred, I guess you could say. I don't know. With this look here, but
you look like Street Jesus right now.
But that's the Hewitt right there. That is
it, right there.
Wide open fast break. Oh, this 3-pointer looks like a good shot. Look at that stroke, you guys. Look at that stroke.
That's nice. Pure.
Very pure.
That's awesome.
Very pure.
Gotta love it. Love it.
So it was a heck of a game, a heck of an experience. That's for sure. That was probably. I mean, I wouldn't say it was a highlight of my high school career. It was up there. I had a few more games later on where I played a lot more and did a lot more on the court, but that's definitely the biggest crowd I played in front of, and I mean, it's the last time I played in front of TV and everything like that. So, but I played in some other big ones too in high school. It was a lot of fun. It was a good experience at Lexington Catholic.
Definitely. So yeah, I mean, going forward, I know now you're trying to pursue or continue to pursue college coaching, and you've coached college for a while now, and you've bounced around at some high schools, right, or some prep schools.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about that.
I was a high school coach while I was pursuing my master's degree. I thought I was just going to be a high school basketball coach, and so I was going to be an education. I was going to be a teacher. And then after 2 years of coaching, the head coach I was working for at the time said, if you want to get into college, you need to go now. So I dropped out of, I basically didn't finish my master's because you had to do student teaching. So, and you can't coach college and be a student teacher. So I did everything but student teach, and I would have my master's. But I did a volunteer year at my alma mater. Then I got into a prep school. Then I went back and was a full-time assistant coach at my alma mater for 2 years. And then this past year I was at Lee University as another assistant. So it's been a lot of fun. It's been a whirlwind, but it's been very enjoyable. I love coaching basketball. I love the sport. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, with those schools, on the D2 and D3 level, we've talked about the coronavirus affecting affecting these big time D1 schools. What do you think the landscape is gonna look like, for these D3 and D2 schools in the college basketball season? I mean, do you think we actually have D2 and D3 college basketball seasons this year completely?
I do not. Unless the virus, what am I thinking of here?
Coronavirus
vaccine.
The vaccine. That's the word I was looking. Thank you, Keith. If the vaccine comes out and it's 100% and it does everything it's supposed to do, then maybe. But as of right now, all the D2s and I think D3 games are all scheduled for January. They don't start till January.
Wow.
And I've been in contact with some coaches. They're saying that I might be able to coach in January, but they don't need me till December 27th. Most D2s are sending their students home for Thanksgiving this week and not allowing anyone on campus at all until December, like the end of December. Yeah. So that includes all athletes.
I'd be curious to see, because it's disjointed because each state has different guidelines. I know, like, even just between Kentucky and Ohio, it's a little bit different, but like I know schools, like public schools and stuff here, have suspended in-person classes. So I wonder if you'll have college students at all by next semester. Because I mean, we're really getting into the thick of the things right now, going into the cold season. So like January is going to be a really, really, really bad time for the virus if we haven't had that vaccine, fully adopted by then, which it's very unlikely that we will. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. But I mean, you brought that up earlier of, with these big schools, the D1 programs and everything, there's just so much money coming in that they're going to figure a way to do it. But yeah, I don't see a lot of those non-TV contracted schools really going out of the way to make sure they get their games in. I just across all sports, I really don't think we're going to be there this year.
I don't either. I think mainly the revenue for small colleges is attendance, like students on campus and everything, and most sports are there to bring people on campus, but as more of as an advertisement than a revenue. So most D2 sports they drain money more than they bring it in. So I would not expect them to continue with it.
It's interesting, I mean, if you could put yourself in their shoes, say the difference of maybe a D2 or D3 player versus a D1 player at a well-known school right now, part of me almost thinks, obviously not having fans at the games, that's a huge blow, and that's going to just take so much away from the game. It has in football, but obviously you've got, even the Oklahoma game last night. There was a hefty amount of people at that game. It almost felt like a regular college football game. But would you think you'd be able to focus more on your game? A part of me almost, because I try to put myself in some of these players' shoes. Like whenever I was at EKU, I know that the students, at least whenever I was pursuing football, the students were just a distraction for me. Like if you take away all the students, it's all I'm there to do is play ball anyway. Like that's how I felt at that time, being so young. Like that's just a huge distraction. Like if I was on campus and all I saw was my teammates and my college coaches, and oh, dude, I don't know. I was just curious your perspective on that. Do you think you'd be able to focus on your game more? Obviously, you're going to be bummed out either way. With no fans, but do you think you'd be able to focus on your game more with less distraction?
I think I would be able to get better at my game just because I'd have nothing else to do other than pretty much play video games and go to school and play basketball. Like there's zero else to do. But I'm kind of one of those guys and Keith knows this and you know this because you came down to my senior night. I kind of cater to the crowd. I shoot a shot and it goes in. I get a steal, whatever. I get hyped. When the crowd gets louder, I get hyped. I play better. So it would.
Do you want to tell a little bit about that senior night?
No, I don't.
No. Okay. I thought I'd ask.
No, you can.
Is that cool?
No.
Is that cool if
I'll tell a little bit of background about it.
Let me see if I can find a picture.
So senior night, my senior night at
King College.
King College. We were playing against Erskine College. We were number 1 in the conference, and we had to win this game to win the conference. We were tied with another team, and they had the tiebreaker. So if we won and they lost their last game, we got the number 1 overall seed. We won the conference. It was the first year we've ever been in the conference too. So this was a huge deal how well we're doing. And so we're playing Erskine, and I go to pregame meal around 11:30. And 2 nights prior to this, Juan, Keith, Will Osborne, and Patrick Schwindeman all drive down to come see me that weekend and watch me play. We're playing on Saturday. They get there Thursday night. So Friday was a blur. Saturday, and to go even further into it, I just moved into a new apartment. and didn't have anything set up yet. I was getting a couch that weekend. I was getting a bed. All 4 of you guys slept on either the couch or an air mattress.
Yeah.
And this one I really remember vividly because I hadn't gotten a shower curtain yet. And Juan went upstairs, took a shit. And
are you sure?
Yes, I'm positive. Wait for it. He went upstairs to take a shit, and he said, I had toilet paper, but he said it was that bad of a shit that he had to just get in the shower. And I didn't have a shower curtain yet. So I was like, this whole bathroom is just going to be soaked. So I was like, Juan, what are you doing? He's like, I had to shit and I had to get in the shower. It was nasty. And I was like, dude, I don't have a shower curtain. He goes, it doesn't matter. It's okay.
You've been in enough locker rooms. I mean, it's all good. I need to clean myself, you know. I mean,
so Saturday morning comes, you guys sleep in, and then I go to pregame. We have pregame walkthrough at like 9:00, then pregame meal at 11:30, and then I don't have to be back at the gym until the girls' game starts at 5:30. And so I come back home at like 1:00 after pregame meal, and you guys had made 4 bottles of Skittles. Or no, I had made 4 bottles of Skittles for you guys. That's what it was. I had made it in preparation for you guys to come. So I made 4 bottles of Skittles.
Basically,
my recipe.
Yeah,
we drank a lot in college. Just gonna put that out there.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. Skittles, we would take a Mountain Dew 2-liter and pour it out to about the label, and then pop in a couple of packs of High C. I like to make, or Kool-Aid. I like to make it with the purple one. It's my favorite. But if you like, at this point, you can pour in a pack of Skittles. I know Juan loves to do that. That's why it's called Skittles. I actually prefer it without the actual Skittles.
Yeah, it's a must for me just to stay true to the original recipe. And also at the end, when you get to the end, you get a little Skittle surprise at the end.
But then, you fill the bottle back up with vodka. So it's a very sugary, light on the taste. I mean, it doesn't taste like any kind of alcohol. So it's a very dangerous beverage. So I just wanted to kind of set the stage on what that was all about before you proceed.
Yeah. So I come back home and you guys had popped into those. I think one was already gone between the 4 of you guys. And then, and you were like, Hewitt, you just have a drink with us, bro. We came all the way down here. Let's just have a drink. And I was like, all right, whatever. I got 4.5 hours before I got to be at the gym. I'll have one. And I'm going to do one.
He's going to do one.
So he pours I'm pretty sure Keith or Schwinn poured a glass on ice, and I drink it, and he goes, it's so good when it hits the lips. It's so good.
Tastes so good.
So I ended up having like 4 glasses of it. And then driving, and I went to the game. And before I left, Keith had the fantastic idea of filling up a Gatorade squirt bottle full of Skittles for me to just continue drinking. Why not, right?
Gotta hydrate.
So
I was looking out for you.
Yeah, you gotta hydrate. And I get there. Thanks, man. But I get there, and as soon as I get in the locker room, it hits me. And I kind of stumble a little bit. And my senior point guard and my junior 2 guard, they look at me and they're like, shit, Hewitt, are you drunk? I was like, maybe. They're like, yeah. And
we got a college basketball game to play.
Yeah. And
are you drunk?
And surprisingly,
maybe.
Yeah. Surprisingly enough, they were okay with it because over the course of my college life, I had played in intramurals and done all sorts of stuff and been really good when I get a little drunk. Yeah. So cornhole, football, everything. I get better when I'm drunk at these things. So they were surprisingly okay. They took a few swigs of the Skittles off of that, and obviously it didn't do enough for them to feel it, but I was sipping on that Gatorade bottle all the way through warm-ups.
That's how refreshing it was.
Yeah, it was so good. And I was already engaged to my wife at the time, and I'm walking out. We had made red Kool-Aid this time, so it really like stained your lips and your tongue really bad.
Oh, it'll get up in there, yeah.
So I'm walking out into half court and like getting a plaque or a ball or whatever the coach gave us, and
Senior
shaking
night
his hand.
proceedings.
Yeah, it was senior night stuff. And I'm walking out with my parents, my wife or fiance at the time, and she looks at me. And obviously, she had Skittles a time or two, and she sees my mouth, and she's like, "You're drunk." I was like, "No, no."
She's like, "Listen, I've had 2-for-1 margaritas at Applebee's a time or two in my life before."
So she instantly knows by just looking at my mouth that I had been drinking. And she looks at me, and she's one of the most competitive people I've ever been around in my life. Like she likes to say we race to the mailbox, which we have before. But she looks at me and she's like, "You fucking better play well." Like dead on serious, like you better not be terrible and throw up everywhere. Like you better be good. And so the whole first half, I was like 7 points away from scoring my 1,000th point. And I hit a three, I get a layup and everything like that. And every time I do anything good, I'm looking at you four dudes and just flexing the bones, just screaming, going nuts. And I couldn't feel anything. Yeah. And yeah, reminds that Juan had a HMD hold my dick t-shirt on that night.
Let's go ahead and just
and on the back of it says hold it. It was incredible.
Just go ahead and give the fans, let's go ahead and give the people what they need here.
Great.
Let's go ahead and give the people what they need. Check out this one though. Hold it.
Yeah.
Hold it. Now let's go back real quick and just zoom on into that drunk Hewitt face. Hammered.
Yeah.
We're all not sober, but we don't have a basketball game to play.
Will I don't think saw most of the second half because he passed out sitting there.
Yeah, look at Will's face.
Yeah. And for some reason, Schwinn brought in crutches. I don't know where he got them, but he was walking around crutches. Had zero injury at all. But
you know what?
In with crutches.
You know what? I just noticed. Look, we got. I don't know. Look at these heathens, and then you got. Jeez, what a
That's
travesty.
The president of the university in the yellow tie. That is Dr. Jordan. That is the president of King University at the time.
They're probably trying to figure out how they can escort us off campus.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, right. They're probably trying to offer us a position there to come back and hype up all the games, man. That stuff was crunk, bro. That was so much fun.
Yeah, the whole first half was a blur. I played really well. I went into halftime with like 10 points or something like that, which is about normal for me. I averaged about 18. And I was so dehydrated at halftime. I remember this so vividly that I don't remember what my coach said at all in that halftime, but I was chugging water. I was so dehydrated.
Probably a good move.
Yeah. So we ended up winning by 6, as you saw on the scoreboard behind us, and the other team lost, and we ended up winning the conference that night. So it was a huge win.
Huge win.
Yeah.
Great win. Oh. Great win. Yeah.
Yeah. And all my teammates knew I was hammered.
Didn't they put like one of those pictures in like the school paper or something?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They had a small picture of like me shooting a layup, and then another picture of like you guys going crazy behind the opposing team's bench.
Oh yeah, we were.
Yeah. And going nuts behind the opposing team's bench, and there's
a whole bunch of this going on.
Yep. That's our mascot.
There's the mascot.
We got the whole student section.
That was Juan's favorite chick. He was a wrestler. That was Juan's favorite chick.
Dragon tattoo. I'll never forget her. She's great.
Oh my goodness. I remember that.
Yeah.
Chris, I left a winner as well.
Yes, you did. So,
Dragon tattoo, man. I haven't seen Dragon tattoo in a while.
You used to like Skype her and FaceTime her after that, like all the time.
It was a great conversation.
Yeah.
It's a great conversation.
So yeah, it was a lot of fun. But yeah, it was a picture of you guys in the school paper as well of like, and it's like Hewitt and friends have a great senior night. That was the article. It was great. Yeah, I did that on the free throw line to ice the game too.
Yeah, I remember that.
We're
like,
hold it. Yeah, I was like, fucking let's go.
I was sitting back there dogging the other team the whole time. Hey, number 11. Hey, number 11. Like,
yeah.
I remember I was on the free throw line. I had an and one, and it gave me my 1,000 point. And in the I'm getting the ball, I'm dribbling, and Schwinn yells out, "Hey, number 12, you just gave Hewitt his 1,000th point. How do you feel?" And I start cracking up. I bricked the free throw. It was bad. But yeah, it was a great night. Great night.
Great times.
What did the Hold My Dick thing come from? It was like a YouTube video. It was that Madden video, right?
Marshawn Lynch.
It was Marshawn Lynch on that ridiculous run. He jumps into the
That's what it is.
End zone, Hold my dick.
Hold my dick.
Yeah. Look at this Marshawn Lynch, nasty beast mode. Get off me. Ugh, little boy. Get out of here. Coming at. Oh, run right. Too slow. Hold my dick. Yeah. That was so impactful on us. We made t-shirts.
Yes, you did. It was great.
Awesome. I still have my HMD t-shirts.
I do well.
The best is whenever I'd be in public, they'd be like, "So what's HMD stand for?" And I'd be like, "Hold my dick." Walk away, and they were just like, just so confused and angry. I don't know why I asked that. It says hold it on the back. What do you mean? Beast mode, Marshawn Lynch. Yeah. Great times, man.
It was awesome.
Jeez.
You still have a hoop at all?
Yeah. I mean, I know enough people through coaching now that I don't really need a hoop. I can just be like, "Hey, let me go shoot at your gym." So it's nice. I like I said, I can go over to King whenever I want, and it's like you and I did during that video, and just go shoot on their goals. It's fine.
Big time.
So.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
I remember like my dad was a huge Pistol Pete fan growing up. So like I grew up watching like the Pistol Pete documentary and like idolizing his handles. And like I had a basketball like everywhere with me when I was a little baby kid growing up. Like football was my main sport because I was better at it. But I always enjoyed basketball a lot more.
Just short. That's why you weren't as good at basketball, because you were just so short.
Well, first off, I beat you 1-on-1, so don't talk about me not being
I let you beat me 1-on-1.
Let's be easy on all
so
that.
Katie Kelly would love you, okay? That's the only reason I let you do it. Don't even talk about that.
I think it's time to cue the Here we
go.
We were playing 1v1 in front of two different girls. One I was already dating, and the other one Keith was in love with at the time.
Wow, I remember that name.
He
sounds like a lot of excuses by Hewitt over there.
Well, he beat me and still didn't get anywhere with Katie Kelly, but that's fine.
Oh no,
she was gorgeous.
I was going to college. Like it was summer after senior year. I was bad with girls in high school too, or just pretty much my whole life.
Can we talk about just one? I just have to interrupt and talk about one instance during that summer of you and I walking 6 miles to your house for no reason.
Well,
do you recall this at all?
Yeah, no, for sure. I went through a phase where I liked to, because I was never a drinking and driving kind of person, but I would get drunk and walk home if nobody was going to give me a ride.
From everywhere.
I feel like we all did it. Especially at the Pasadena house. I walked from downtown at the Pasadena house a few times. That is a walk.
No, this instance, you were over Tate's Creek, and nobody really knows this, but it's like a
close to like Laredo.
Yeah, and it was like a 6-7 mile walk to your house, direct walk. Like you couldn't. And you called me. And it's like 1:30 in the morning. I wasn't at this party, but you called me at like 1:30, and you were just, I don't know what happened. You weren't happy, but you were like, Hewitt, I'm walking home. I'm like, where are you? Like, I'm passing Meadowbrook, which is a par 3, which is nowhere close to your house. And I was like, dude, just wait. I'll be there. So I drive.
Yeah.
I drive. I'm sober as a bird. I drive, and I'm driving next to you. This is 2 a.m. Nobody's on the road. And I'm like going 2 miles an hour down the road. You're walking to me. I'm in the car.
I feel like I had like a t-shirt wrapped around my head or something.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. I started sweating, so I took my shirt off and like put it around my. I'm so surprised I didn't get arrested when we were in college. You guys like.
But
I'm surprised I'm still here.
Yeah, well.
I did one time at Austin City that happened, but like people I was supposed to ride home with left me, or like something happened and I didn't have my ride, and like the cab I was supposed to get in like never came, or like my wallet was with somebody. That's what it was. I didn't have money for a cab, so I tried to walk home, and I was on Richmond Road like trying to thumb people down, and I thumbed down a police officer, and he's like, son, you know it's illegal to hitchhike in Kentucky, right? I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. Because I would go out there on my rants and stuff, but I knew I had enough sense to be like, oh, this is a police officer. I need to be polite and nice. So like, if you're drunk and disorderly and you're like, get away, I don't want you, that's a bad situation. But the cop, like, I was just like, yes, sir, I'm sorry. My friends left me. I don't have money for a cab. Like, I was just nice and like honest about it. And he actually called a cab and paid for it for me and sent me home in the cab that night. Yeah.
Huh. That's nice.
I thought you were going to say, and he was so nice. He put me in the back of the cruiser and he took me to a place where I could get some sleep. It was really weird. I woke up and it was like a massive dormitory, but everyone was angry.
Anyway, I was going over
you would not get in the car. You would not. And I pleaded with you, and you were like, nope, I'm on a mission. I'm walking home. So I ended up driving like a mile ahead, parking my car, walking back until you got to me, and then we walked together the rest of the way. It was miserable.
That's a friend right there.
Awful.
I've always been a stubborn person. And I've tried to get better as that with age. You'd have to ask Ann if I actually am or not. I'd like to think I'm a little bit less.
You are married, so it's got to be better.
Got to be on some level. But anyway, I mean, I wasn't even trying to bring that up. I'm over here trying to talk about my passion for the game of basketball.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You're attacking me for being short or something. Like,
sorry, no,
God, Hewitt.
I mean, I love it. I love how good you are. But I love playing with you too, because we have a pick and roll game that is Nash Stoudemire-esque. Is what
I do remember that, yes, sir. But I just
really good.
Anyway, I was just trying to say, like, I love, like, it's always been a therapeutic escape for me. Like, just the rhythm of hearing the ball bounce and, just kind of shutting out the rest of the world and just kind of like focusing in between the lines on the court there. So I've always loved playing, I played at Dunbar for a year, and then I started playing intramurals because I had an injury from football. But I was always getting intramural teams together in college and stuff. It's always been a part of my life. And like, I had a basketball hoop in my backyard in Lexington, and literally every day after work, I would go home and shoot hoops. Like, even in the freaking winter, like there with gloves on, just trying to kind of decompress from the day. So I say all that to say, like, I moved to Louisville last year, and, I didn't have my court anymore, but there were still public courts I could go to. And then I joined a gym and they had a court. And now with the virus, all of the courts are shut down. Like, LA Fitness doesn't let you play. All of the outdoor courts, the city came by and took all the rims off. So there's just backboards standing up with no rims anywhere. So it's like, that's been a weird thing for me this year, is like, will I ever get to play pickup? Like, when are we going to be able to play a pickup game again? Like, are they ever going to put those rims back on the public courts? Like, it's been kind of jarring for me just to kind of think about that. So I didn't know if you still hooped or that was like, if you felt that impact at all.
Like I said, Tennessee really doesn't believe in COVID, so it really, like, we're fine. We're already playing high school basketball down here. Like, it's not a big deal. And Kentucky I will always call Lexington my home, but Kentucky basketball is so different than Tennessee basketball. Like you go into Lexington, and at any point before Corona, at any point you could go to the Blues and you were getting a game. Like there was enough people there to play. At least 2 courts were going at almost all time.
Yeah. Which are the blue courts down on University of Kentucky's campus, right?
Yeah, okay, the Blues. Yeah.
For people who don't know, there's what is there, like 4? There's 4 different courts. 4 different courts.
The lights stay on till like 2 a.m, sometimes 3, and I mean,
awesome.
They play till then. Like they play till the lights go out, and it's honestly it's kind of where like Lexington legends are made, like a little bit. You know, like it's if you're good there, then everybody kind of knows you. So Tennessee's not really like that. It's a struggle to find places to play down here because just nobody plays. There's plenty of hoops, there's plenty of courts. It's just not as big down here. So I love Kentucky for that aspect that you can go anywhere and play.
Yeah. It's a good point. I didn't really think of that perspective. That is a good point though. Especially before coronavirus. I mean, it was geez, that's never going to change. I feel like whenever it gets back, to normal times. It's definitely a hotbed. And even like a lot of like the new apartment complexes around that area of campus, they have full courts.
Yeah, they have a court there for the residents. It's awesome.
Yeah,
I've considered going to like Walmart or something and just buying a rim and putting it on the hoop at our local park and seeing if anybody pays attention. Like some days I'll go for a jog and I'll just take my basketball with me and just dribble on a jog, and I love doing that. But a lot of the times I'll dribble up to the park and just do like some ball handling drills up and down the court, and then like, do some zone shooting drills or something, just like, get 10 shots up from the baseline and 10, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I've still been like, it's super therapeutic, but like, I'm still going up there and just like shooting at the backboard. Like
Tim Duncan
take the rims off every time. You can take the rims off, but I'm still going to go up there and get my shots up. Like, you can't stop me. I don't care.
We were born in the 80s. Okay. We got imagination.
Exactly.
I just miss playing like 32 tip, man. How many hours I spent as a kid playing 32? Like,
lower the rim, and it was a dunk tip all the time. It was so much fun.
Man.
I used to love going over to Metter's house. He had a sick goal, and just, we would have epic battles back there in his backyard.
Good times. But anyway, good times.
I wanted to. So I'm at a weird spot because I'm really excited about the upcoming seasons, but I'm also tempering my excitement because I was really excited last year in February because our team was clicking and I thought they had a good shot of going to the finals.
It did.
And then the tournament got canceled. So it's like part of me is really, really excited because I think we're going to have a good team this year. But part of me is also like, I don't want to get too excited because what if the same kind of deal happens and they don't get a chance? Like, so that's kind of where I'm at right now. But I still want to do a little.
Yeah. With UK in the past, I as a coach, I kind of see when our teams are really good and when they're clicking is when there's usually 1 or 2 guys that have at least been there a year or 2. Mm-hmm. And I'm worried about this year because who we got returning.
Well, so that's the catch this year for sure is, we don't really have, the only person that got burned on the team last year was Keon Brooks. Yeah. I think he's the only person that played at all because Dante I think he redshirted last year.
He did.
So, I mean, in order to kind of compensate for that, we did have the 2 grad transfers come in. So Cal went out and got a grad transfer from Creighton. That's a point guard, Davion Mintz. He actually won the 3-point contest at Big Blue Madness on Friday with a pretty good score, like 22 or 24 or something like that. Kick and shoot. And then we brought in a grad transfer from Wake Forest. Actually, he might have just been a transfer, not a grad
He
transfer.
he wasn't a grad.
Yeah,
he was transfer.
transfer. He's good though.
7-footer from France originally, second team all Pac-10 or whatever, not Pac-10.
He's almost a double-double.
Big 10 or whatever last year. Yeah,
ACC. Yeah.
Super skilled big man, but so I mean we've got trying to use the grad transfers as our guys, and we've had some success with that recently. With Reed Travis, Nate Sestina gave us some huge games last year.
Did.
But guards transferring into UK have been really hit and miss. So I think that's a great point you bring up. I'm curious to see how we look. Yeah.
And honestly, like even our national championship team with Anthony Davis and Kid Gilchrist and all that, you look at some of the guys that kind of sprinkled in there with the Terrence
Jones was a sophomore that year.
Yeah, Terrence Jones.
Darius Miller was on the team as a senior.
Was a junior or senior. Yeah, I mean, we had enough guys that knew the system enough and knew how to play together like that and kind of usher the young guys. And even last year, Quickly was a sophomore. Emmanuel Quickly was a sophomore last year.
And Hagens was a sophomore too. We had 2 guards back last year. And we had, EJ was a sophomore. Nick Richards was a senior. You don't hardly ever see that. And I thought we had a really balanced team. Once we figured that the 3-guard lineup was the look, so Quickly, Hagens, and Maxey on the court at the same time, that's a tough matchup for a lot of teams. Like,
for a lot of
they can guard, they can switch on anything guard-wise. You had Nick Richards in the paint. Really, the 4 spot was where we struggled last year.
Yeah, so Nate Sestina gave us a lot of good minutes at the 4, but it wasn't – he performed really well in a few games, and it just wasn't as consistent as we needed it to be. So,
and he was a liability on defense.
A huge liability. He couldn't move his feet for shit. But anyway, that's what I – like traditionally with Coach Cal teams, you need some kind of like elder statesman balance with our young group of talent that we bring in every year to have those good teams. And that's what I'm worried about this year with them.
Yeah. You need that continuity. I mean, I think, this is one reason why, like, I was turned away, I guess, like at an early age. I could even see it from being like an avid like UK fan. Like, I'll watch him and like I'll appreciate it, like I'll cheer him on, but like at the same time now and I get that fan is short for fanatic, and being fanatical, but at the same time, like, man, UK fans take it to a whole new level. And I'm not saying all of them. And I feel like, maybe let's just call it us having more information now as we all get older and stuff. But they're crazy. And to your all's point, like, I don't understand why they freak out over a loss during the season whenever we're sitting here talking about, a brand new crop of kids coming in. Cal, that's always been his style. The way he plays, it just takes you a while to really, form that continuity, within. And what happens at the end of the year every year? They're always in the hunt. They're always in the hunt for another title. UK is, and that's when they play their best basketball. I don't understand. It's like, guys, every year we've seen this play out where the Cats are always in the hunt at the end, but 4th or 5th game of the season, we lose 1 by 3, and it's, this team is terrible. Fire Coach Cal. I can't believe them. Like, geez, guys, how do you live with yourself? Holy shit, guys.
I think most of the time it's when we lose to teams we like should not lose to at all. Like, if we lose to Duke when they had Zion by 20 or 30 or 40, whenever it was, like, in my opinion, as a UK fan, I was like, man, that's the best college basketball performance I've ever seen by Duke. And I was like, nobody could have messed with them that night.
Not on that night, no.
Yeah. And I was okay with us losing. I think as a Kentucky fan, I think when we lose to Evansville in Rupp Arena last year, that's when we freak out.
Yeah.
Like, it's those teams that you should not lose to by any means. Even just like the first game of the season, you never played together. You're more athletic, better, talented basketball players. All you have to do is stop them from scoring. That's when Kentucky fans freak out a little bit.
I understand that, but also this is a bunch of 18-year-old freshmen out there. Sure. I mean, can we all think about when we were 18? I mean, come on. This is a bunch of 18-year-old freshmen out there. They just look like grown men, okay? And another point right there, whenever Duke had that huge victory, whenever Zion was over there over UK, I'm not out here gloating. It was a fun game to watch, as a no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because you know what? I've had that done to me my whole entire life right in front of my face. And I'm just like, it's not really my style. Plus, you know what? Maybe if I was a hooper, it'd be different if I feel more attached to the sport. But I stopped playing like freshman year of high school. I haven't played in so long. So, but whenever they had that big win, I'm not, calling everybody like, we're going to win the national title because the first game of the season, we did this to, it's like, and the same thing.
I did that for you.
I'm saying,
I was like, this is the best team I've ever seen. They're going to win the national championship. They might not have a game within 20 points.
Well, that performance though, everybody was on. Yeah. Every single player. So, it's, that happens.
Who did they end up losing to that year?
They ended up losing to Virginia Tech during the regular season because Zion wasn't playing. He got hurt because of the sneaker.
Oh, when he busted out of his shoe. Yeah.
Yeah, or no, that
in
was
the tournament though.
Michigan State.
It was Michigan State and Cassius Stanley.
Cassius Winston.
Cassius Winston. Sorry, Cassius Stanley. That's our team. That's home team. But in that game, I actually went back and watched that like not long ago, and a little bit of it, I was kind of disappointed in Coach K and whatnot, and also it's just like. That's when it gets tough. You've got all these superstars in a team. It's like, well, who takes the last shot? It's like, well, when you give it to RJ and then he misses, it's like, well, why didn't you give it to Zion? You got Zion. Well, it's like, well, RJ was averaging 25 points a game,
Yeah.
So it's tough. And it's like, well, they're going to be hunting for Zion and RJ. Why don't you give it to Cam? He's knocked down big threes all year. It's like, well, we got RJ. It's, so
yeah,
it's tough, and it's just, but I think ultimately too, they were just such a young team, that year predominantly. Then they run into a Michigan State team that's led mostly by, veterans.
Michigan State's always got
exactly.
They're like one of the few predominantly non-D1 one and done schools that are still going that strong.
Although they did get Amani Bates, who is the number one player in the 2022 class, I believe. So they bring in their one and dones every now and again.
Not often.
Yeah.
Not nearly as
Dude,
often.
have you seen this guy, Chet Holmgren?
No.
So I just watched it because they had Amani Bates rated as the number one player in the country as, I believe, a sophomore.
It was 2022. He's in a junior year right now.
So these highlight videos have been popping up all over my YouTube of number one player in this class versus number one player in that class. And I'm like, all right, let's see what this is about. Because I had watched Amani Bates highlights after he committed to Michigan State. Like, dang, they got an underclassman ranked above all these kids. Let's see what he's got. And he's legit. He's like 6'7", 6'8" or so. Good handle, just a solid, well-rounded kid. And Chet Holmgren is this like 7'1", scrawny, goofy looking white kid who like looks like he would break if he tried to post somebody
I think I've seen this guy before. Yeah.
I'm gonna see if I can find a video, dude. So I'm like, okay, let's see what they did head to head. Dude, this kid dominated. Yeah. Like let me pull up a video.
Chet
like
did,
it's hard.
The white kid, right?
Chet did, yeah.
He's
like,
dude,
he's got handles,
smooth.
bro.
Yeah, he is smooth. he's like a white, little slower Durant, honestly. Like he's taller. Yeah,
he's gigantic. I'm just gonna pull up this video just so you can kind of see what he looks like here. There was a move in the second half he made where he took Bates to the rack and did this like spin move. I'm gonna try to find the specific play here real quick.
Yeah. He's really talented. I remember seeing him coming up a little bit. I forgot his name until you told me what he looked like. I was like, yeah, I know that guy.
Yeah, man, he looks like he does kind of move a little bit like Durant, like he's crazy skinny. I can't find this exact play, but I'll just go ahead and just kind of.
So are you excited about Duke basketball while he's looking it up, Juan?
I am thrilled. I am pumped about Duke basketball this year, mainly because kind of like how you guys were talking about with UK and them lacking, a lot of experience.
Yeah.
That's something that this year now. Last year's team, I loved last year's team. Of course, it sucks. I mean, none of us got to see what our, what our favorite teams did in the postseason. But much like UK, I felt like Duke was really coming on, even though they had a couple losses. They were bigger teams. I thought they had a great shot at making a nice run in the ACC tournament. 5 out of their 6 losses last year, they only had 6 losses going in to the postseason, were all ACC teams.
Yeah.
So, they only lost 1 regular season out of conference game. Pretty impressive. And
who was that to?
I'm not sure. Was it Kansas maybe?
No, it was not.
You said out of conference regular season game?
Out of conference regular season, yeah.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was like Sam Houston State.
Oh no, you're right. It was something like
it was the Lumberjacks of.
It was like Stephen F. Austin.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was Stephen F.
Austin.
It was like second year, and they came in and took it to you in Cameron Indoor.
In Cameron, ruined the streak. I'm pretty sure I got obliterated that night. I was just like, oh my god. I was like, you can find me on the street outside my local bar.
But that reaffirms my point right there, Juan. Like. UK fans, when we lose to Evansville, they go out and do that. You did it when you guys lost to Stephen F. Austin. That's what
I'm exaggerating, but I do understand what you're saying. It is just like and at home, it's like, come on, guys, it was just a lack of focus. But with so many young players, it's like, well, that's kind of what you get. You guys need to wake up because these guys are bringing it to you. They're not going to hand you any games, but. Anyway, as far as this season goes, this season I'm extremely pumped because we bring in 5 freshmen, of course, just like UK, all, the top in the country.
Yeah.
Super impressed. The big steal for us is we've got a grad transfer from Columbia, I believe, Patrick Tape, and he's going to be a 6'9" forward down low who's going to bring us really a lot of depth because we've got a true 7-footer coming in who I'm pumped about, Mark Williams. He's going to be great down low, but as a freshman, he's 7 foot. He's not very big. Patrick Tape, he's older. He's more experienced. He had a pretty good career at Columbia, in Ivy League ball. And then now you come in and he provides just so much depth. Mark Williams gets in foul trouble. You've got him down low. Yeah. Also got Henry Coleman, bigger dude, 6'9". I want to say he's like 240 coming in. But the reason why I'm really pumped and I won't go into a lot of the freshmen. I could go on and on about them, how pumped I am. The reason why I'm extremely excited about this year, we've got Jordan Goldwire coming back, who I love his story because he was actually committed to EKU.
Yeah.
That was one of EKU's biggest grabs
of all time.
Of all time from getting Jordan. Okay, EKU, my sort of alma mater there. Jordan Goldwire coming in from Georgia, I believe. I think it's Norcross, Georgia.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden, Duke needed, around that time, they needed someone to back up Tyus Jones. They had no backup. So they literally offered him overnight and boom, he's like, I'm going to Duke.
Well, yeah.
I mean, of course, how can you deny that? But
EKU Duke Blue Devil. I mean, come on.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm pumped to see him come in. He's played with both Jones brothers, obviously.
Yeah, he's good. He's a solid player.
Yeah, solid player. Defense is crazy. He improved his jumper and his 3-point percentage like nuts last year. So you've got, veteran guard now, tons of experience. You've got Patrick Tape down low to give you some depth. Another veteran grad transfer. You've got Joey Baker coming in, sleeper 6'7" guard, came in with that Zion class. A lot of people forget that just because he didn't get a lot of clock, but he provided good minutes last year coming in. Another big body, knows the offense and defense well, and he can knock down the shot. You got Wendell Moore returning for his sophomore season.
Who is the white shooter you guys had last year?
We've got Matthew Hurt.
So that's why That's the guy I wanted to compare Chet Holmgren to, because
that dude's
Hurt
good.
reminded me a lot of Chet, and I thought Hurt kind of underperformed last year. So I figured that's what he would be like. I found this video though.
Let's take a look at this thing.
Peep this move right here, because like the game was pretty close all around. Team Sizzle here is Chet's team. So this is Amani Bates right here, and this is Chet Holmgren. He just got the rebound.
How goofy that dude is.
Dude, he's so goofy, like so scrawny. But look at his handle right here. He takes it coast to coast, crosses up the number one player in the country, and then just jams on the whole team, bro.
That's pretty nice.
And he was like, he took over in the second half, 31, 11, and 6. Look at this kid. Look at he looks goofy as hell.
Hewitt, that's like you up in your chest.
7 foot Hewitt right there.
Oh my god.
Let's go, dude. Let's go.
Like looking in one of those those circus mirrors that makes you longer and taller. That's what it is.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. That's great. Oh man.
But I just thought that was funny. I love keeping up with the recruiting and stuff.
Yeah.
That was interesting. We might have he might be nothing, but you could see that kid in the NBA one day.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, I'm super, super pumped about this season. Matthew Hurt, everything that I'm reading, they've said that Matthew Hurt and Jordan Goldwire are the two most improved over the summer. So to have two veterans that are the most improved, that's huge. Matthew Hurt, obviously another 5-star.
They're sophomores though, right? It's not like they're like junior, senior.
Goldmire's a junior.
Goldwire, because he was okay.
Yeah. He's a junior, I believe. And then Wendell Moore and Matthew Hurt. Joey Baker's a junior, but Moore and Hurt are both sophomores. Hurt, I'm hoping, is going to develop into sort of like a Kyle Singler type, but more of a spot up shooter.
I hated him
because he was so good. That's why
he was one of my least favorite. He was the ugliest dude in the world. I've never seen a bigger head on a body, and I had a huge head when I was growing up.
Yeah,
that kid had an enormous dome.
He was from Oregon, so it's probably those psychedelics. He was.
Who is your least favorite Dookie of all time?
Oh, there's not even a question. It is Wojciechowski.
What? You don't like Wojciechowski, man?
And that's 1A, and 1B is obviously Christian Laettner. But that's Christian Laettner is the least favorite of most UK players because of the shot.
Right.
But Wojo was such a little bitch.
I'll never forget when he was acting like Jamal McGlure was breaking his back.
When he broke him. He broke him in half, and I was like, get him. I was so excited. I was like, yeah, that's what you get, you little bitch. No. He flopped so much all the time. He was that white dude that he had no skill. He did everything through effort, and he just bugged the hell out of me all the time.
Hell of a Duke player.
Whatever.
I got one for you.
Okay.
Grayson Allen.
I hate him.
Everybody goes to either Grayson or JJ. It's usually the most relevant ones. Yeah.
Come around to JJ. I love his podcast. Yeah. He's a character, dude. I like listening to him, and he does a really good job interviewing other NBA players. Like he did a convo with Jimmy Butler after he left Philly. That was really
good.
I saw that one.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
And they had DeMar DeRozan on, and I love their podcasts. So I hated him when he was at Duke, but I like JJ Redick now. But Grayson Allen, bro.
Yeah.
Oh my God. The epitome of all those things you were just talking about. Yep. And also his willingness to play dirty is what took it to the next level for me. And he's still that.
He's the ultimate bad guy in college basketball.
Now, question, do you think that if you were on the same team as Grayson Allen in college that you would have thought differently?
I still would have thought he was dirty.
If somebody on my team tried to trip somebody multiple times and kick somebody in the balls, dude, that's not cool.
Yeah.
I've disliked plenty of players on my own team before.
Yeah. I have to.
Yeah.
And it's really not because it's Duke too, because I can name you 3 or 4 players on Duke that are some of my favorite players to watch when they were playing college basketball.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my favorite player, maybe my favorite player of all time in college basketball, might be John Shire.
He was really good.
And it's
really,
kind of because
really good.
like he reminded me of me a little bit. Like he and I had a very similar game. Like we could shoot it real well, but like we did everything. We got steals. We were really good passers. We were very intelligent on the court players, like very cerebral players. And that's how he played. And I was like, that's exactly what I try to model myself as. And he was really good at it.
Yeah.
He's also 6'6". And
if I had a favorite Dookie, I would say probably Jay Williams, without a doubt.
That was another one that I loved. I loved him. I loved John Shire. There was Trajan Langdon.
The
Alaskan assassin. He was unbelievable. Hated most of everybody else on his team. I think he played with Carlos Boozer. Couldn't stand that dude.
Boozer, yeah.
He was awful. But and then Sheldon Williams, I think, was on that team. That dude had a 7 head. That guy looked like an alien.
But AKA the landlord. He still leads the school in blocks all time.
Yeah, but like I don't root against certain players because they play for Duke. Like I recognize good players and like stuff like that. But yeah, there's a lot of just douchebaggy players that play at Duke.
Well, you know,
Mojo, like Grayson Allen, like Leitner, like all that. It's just there are a lot of douchers.
You know, I mean, they still definitely have that, and they always have, you know, that more of a prep, you know, type,
very privileged
culture. Yeah, and I get it. I'm just, you know, in love with Coach K, man. I absolutely love Coach K.
Juan,
seen him in person only a few times, but yeah, go ahead.
I know, like, it seems like college basketball is changing a little bit in anticipation for a rule change with the one and dones. Because I mean, there was a while where Coach Cal was getting nothing but one and dones. It seems like now he's a little more apt to go after a 4-star every now and again that he can get a couple of years out of, as well as we've missed out on some top 5 players that traditionally you would think would come here. And we've been doing a lot more grad transfer recruiting. Have you seen any changes in Duke in the past few years in the way they've been recruiting one and dones and maybe trying to set up for more long-term?
Totally. Yeah. I mean, obviously, you know, Coach K followed suit, you know, with Coach Cal. You know, I feel like Coach K with his older ways, you know, Cal's so savvy and, you know, hell of a recruiter, obviously. I mean, but I feel like Coach K was so hesitant to really start going with the one and done just because that may not be the tradition of the program. And that's not necessarily what he wants to go after. But really, at the end of the day, he's just recruiting the best players. You know,
Coach K's been pretty balls in on one and dones for a number of years now.
For a while. I'm talking about
now.
Yeah, I'm talking about pre like one and done where, you know, yeah. But you know, we're talking like, you know, let's throw it back to like 04-05, you know, pre heavy one and done area, you know, era.
Coach Cal was doing it for probably 5 or 6 years before Coach K really started getting on that wagon.
Right. And you know, it hasn't been until, you know, the past 4 to 5 seasons, you know, where Duke started to, you know, dominate in recruiting, just like, you know, UK was there for a long time,
beating us out on a lot of top players. I mean, RJ, Zion,
a lot, definitely. And that's something that it's obviously UK and Duke, they're gonna be competing so much and in so many different ways. Recruiting is no different. And it's interesting you ask that, because whenever I look at this Duke roster now, obviously, like we lose a couple of guys, you know, who are practice guys. And then obviously, you know, Tape, you know, we'll lose him, Goldwire potentially, and then maybe, you know, some guys to the NBA. But really, there's some other guys, especially, I mean, we brought in 5 freshmen. That's a lot. Not all 5 of those guys are going to the NBA. They're not going to see enough time on the court. Yeah. So as I look at this roster, I'm like, okay, I wonder what he's thinking. Like, who does he think early on is going to stick around for their sophomore, potentially junior year? And I think that's why, Cal is doing a great job at going and grabbing those grad transfers and those older guys to provide a little bit of experience and stuff. But I wonder now, when I look at this young UK roster, who does Cal and the coaching staff think that is going to stick around, for that sophomore, maybe junior season?
I think we've got a couple of 2 or 3 year guys on this team, especially we've kind of got a log jam at the 3-4 spot. So we'll just kind of dive into UK's roster. I know we talked just kind of Keon Brooks and the 2 grad transfers. We actually had a third transfer, Jacob Toppin, who's the younger brother of National Player of the Year last year, Obi Toppin.
First round draft.
He's actually he's like 6'7", has the highest vert on the team. So that's interesting. But we just, so many guys at that position, I don't know who's going to play, because like Sarr has to start. And then you would think when he's healthy, Keon would start at the 4 because he's the only returner. But then Isaiah Jackson looks like you're not going to be able to stop him from being on the court. So like if I had to guess which players would be one and done from this team, I think Isaiah Jackson would be gone if he ends up blowing up and having a big year, of course. I think the 2 guards are probably gone. Our 2 top recruits are BJ Boston and Terrence Ferguson, a couple wings, super athletic guys, both can shoot pretty well.
Yeah.
From that point, though, I mean, we'll lose the 2 seniors, Sarr and Mintz. Davion Mintz is going to have to be big for this team if we're going to be successful this year as the senior point guard. But he's got good college experience, so I've pretty solid faith in him. Then you got Devin Askew, our top guard that we brought in as a recruit. He reclassified, though, so he's a young freshman. He doesn't look like he's quite ready to handle the team. So I could definitely see him being back for another year or 2 after this one. Lance Ware brought in a power forward who was Mr. Basketball in New Jersey. I just don't think he's going to see enough clock this year to get himself into the NBA conversation. If he's talented enough, I don't know if he is or not. But I definitely think he'll be one of those guys we have around for a couple of years. Toppin probably we'll see for I doubt he'll be a one and done.
Yeah, I think he'll be at least a sophomore.
I mean, Keon Brooks could be a junior playing for us next year. I mean, there's no guarantee he's leaving. So I really think, the 2 seniors, Sarr and Mintz, and then the 2 guards for sure are gone. And then I think Boston. And then I think depending on how the year goes, probably Isaiah Jackson, but not guaranteed. But I mean,
he's got to do well.
Yeah. But if we could return, like, we have a forward, Cameron Fletcher. He can shoot okay, but he's more of an athletic defender type. I kind of like what he could bring as a multi-year guy. So maybe Cameron stays, maybe Jackson, but I doubt he'll end up staying. Lance Ware will be back, I think. Devin Askew will be back. Keon possibly, maybe Toppin, Dante Allen if he doesn't transfer out. So I mean, we could return a lot of guys from this team. It's going to be really interesting to see who gets the PT at forward and center, because that's it's where we got the log jam right now. And then
it's really intriguing who does well.
Definitely.
Yeah, I get the sense we're going to play a lot of the style this year is going to be a little bit different because it seems like we're a lot more big guy heavy. So I think Lob City is going to be back at UK this year. You can definitely think we're going to be attacking the rim, and we could have a really big lineup if we go, say we move Keon to the 3 because Isaiah Jackson's got to be in there at the 4 with Olivier at the 5, and then you've got Terrence and BJ running the guard spots. It might be better with Keon out with Minson, so you got a 3 guard lineup. It'll be fun to see how we do it, but we've got some potentially super long, athletic, potentially really good defensive lineups on the team this year. I'll be really curious to see how they turn out.
And I real fast. I know Coach Cal's never really been about a zone, but when you have so much length like we have, I would love to see him just sprinkling in a little bit. And I don't want you to become Syracuse and just traditionally play 2-3, but like every now and then just play a little zone and just be long as hell. Because when you have that much length, it is so hard to do anything against the zone when you're that long.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. Yeah. I'm kind of surprised, if I'll be surprised, if we don't see it. That's one thing.
He had mentioned that at Big Blue Madness. He said they were going to try out a little bit of zone this year. He said he's still on the fence of whether or not he wants to press because we're really deep and athletic. But he also said we should be really good at protecting the rim this year. So it might be a better idea to pack it in instead of creating all those, potential open lanes from stretching out a press. So I definitely do think we'll see some 2-3 out of the team this year. And I wouldn't be surprised if we did a little bit of press, like a 3/4 court press falling back into a 2-3. I could definitely see that happening this year.
And I really credit Coach K for being able to, because last year he played a lot more zone than I've ever seen Duke play. And I mean, you're traditionally those guys that sit there, get in a passing lane, slap on the floor, stupid Wojo. And that's what Duke is. Like they're in your face, they're in passing lanes, they're trying to pressure the ball man to man. Mm-hmm. And last year they went in zone a lot, and it gave a lot of teams a lot of trouble. And we got to credit Coach K for trying that. And it worked out well.
Right. Yeah. And that's a few seasons ago was really like whenever he first started trying it, we were just god awful on defense. So he's like, all right, we're really long. We got to do something. Let's throw in a zone. Of course, he was quoted saying he obviously learned a ton, from Coach Boeheim, in Syracuse whenever they both coached on the Olympic team together. Yeah. But yeah, that's something I was going to ask you guys. You kind of already answered it, in a way is, how do you see this UK team playing this year? Because that's another thing I'm excited about from the Duke roster is there are so many talented guys on this team, on this Duke roster. And I'm looking at this UK roster. It's like, man, they are deep. They are deep. Do we see 2 platoons again?
That's why they pay Coach Cal, Coach K the big bucks. They got to make those decisions. I mean, they don't make millions of dollars to sit there and be friends with everybody and make sure everybody gets the same amount of time. Nobody does that.
Because there's going to be so much good competition to get on the court this year, I wouldn't be surprised if a Dante Allen transferred out of the program or something like that in the offseason, just because it's too log jammed. I mean, you've got Sarr, Stewart, and Keon trying to fit into 2 spots really in the starting lineup. And then you've got Toppin and Lance Ware at that same position. So that's 5 deep down low.
Yep.
And then I think the guards, it's a lot more clear cut. Davion's going to get the lion's share at point guard, being the only, senior guard we have. But then we also have our 2 best recruits are guards. Yeah. So it's like, do we go big lineup and have BJ at the point and we're 6'7" across the board and taller? Yeah. Like that would be a crazy defensive team. Imagine a 2-3 zone with Clark or Terrence Ferguson and BJ Boston at the top, and then 7-footer Sarr in the middle with Isaiah Jackson and Keon Brooks on the wings. Like,
I mean, the fact that they could be like the guards could be on the elbows with their hands almost touching in the middle of the court and almost touching the 3-point lines on the other side. It's stupid.
Crazy.
I mean, it's nuts.
I think Sarr is huge for this team. Without him, we would have had a gaping hole in the middle. I mean, we would have tried to force Isaiah Jackson as the go-to guy, but Sarr's got a really refined post game. So I see probably running the offense through him, especially to start the year. And then as those guards get more comfortable in the college game, you might see more of that dribble drive, kind of mince Boston and Ferguson, all 3 trying to kind of attack the basket similarly to what you saw at the end of the year last year. I don't think we'll be as good as shooters as we were last year with Quickly and Maxey, but I do think we'll be more athletic overall, and we're a lot longer overall too.
I loved Quickly. He was one of my favorites. Like he all effort, defense was a big priority, and he knocked down some huge shots. I loved watching him play.
Yeah, another one of the reasons why I'm so salty about last year, dude. We were peaking as the season ended, and Quickly shot himself up to SEC Player of the Year last year. He was super clutch for us. Didn't miss free throws. super high percentage from 3-point line.
Top 5 in the nation in free throw percentage, wasn't he?
Wouldn't surprise me. I think only Tyler Hero has had a better percentage. I think maybe in school history.
Yeah.
Now that I think about that, but
it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, man. I love seeing. I think now we can kind of blend into NBA a little bit.
Hold on,
because I
hold the phone.
Am I reading this correctly? Redshirt sophomore, University of Kentucky men's basketball, Lexington Catholic.
Yeah, Payne. He was the coach's son. He's a
Kenny
walk-on.
Payne's son. Yeah.
Oh, it's Kenny. Okay, Kenny Payne's son.
But Kenny Payne's gone, right?
Yeah, he's gone now, but he was there last year when he signed.
Dude, so peep this. So quickly ends up with the Knicks in the draft. Kenny Payne went to the Knicks. Kevin Knox is there. Julius Randle was already there. And they just signed Nerlens Noel. 4 cats and a cat coach.
What's going on there? What's going on?
You're about to see some Knicks jerseys snatched up by Kentucky fans.
There's a few teams in the past years that have had like 3 or 4 cats that just like they dominated, you know.
OKC. I've loved seeing Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in the league. I didn't think he would be that good this early. Kid is a baller.
Yeah. When they went 3 guards at OKC this past year with him, Paul, and
Schroeder.
God. Yeah, Dennis Schroeder. That lineup was so much fun to watch in the playoffs.
With Gallinari and Steven Adams or Nerlens down low. Yeah, it was a fun team, man. But they've got Hamidou Diallo on that team still, I believe. So I'd say
blew that team up.
Yeah, they blew them up big time.
Adams is gone. Gallinari's gone. Schroeder's gone. Chris Paul's gone. Gilgeous-Alexander's the only one left.
For real though, they're putting the franchise in his hands. I don't mind it.
No.
What's his name? Steven Adams got traded to New Orleans. New Orleans has had a really good offseason so far.
They've made some interesting moves.
Yes, they got rid of Drew Holiday, of course.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember who they got in the draft. Oh, they got that point guard from Bama, Kyra Lewis Jr. That kid's a baller. We had some really good battles with him the past couple of years.
Yeah, he's good.
They're going to be deep, man. Their starting 5 is nice. Drew Holiday's gone. So Lonzo, not a Lonzo guy, but anyway, Lonzo,
JJ Redick. Everything else is terrible. Great passer, though.
Juan's boy, Brandon Ingram, Zion, and Steven Adams. That's a solid 5 right there.
There's 2 Dookies right there, Juan.
Yeah, well, the Pelicans are littered with you got Frank Jackson. I think they traded Jahlil Okafor though, but Okafor was there.
He's a bum anyway.
The NBA really hadn't done it.
I had him on my fantasy squad last year.
He's a bum. He's another one of those I didn't really like at Duke. So I didn't like him in the pros either.
He's the only one that like sounds like he's a giant. Like when he speaks, he also has a crazy overbite too. So he's like, oh, that's an underbite. It's like this.
He can't even do it.
So I was telling you, it's a good brotherhood. It's a brotherhood. The brotherhood. Yeah. And it's they throw me the ball in the post, and it was good. Tyus was there. Jones. I can't even do it. How do you do that?
No clue.
I've never seen him talk before, so I don't even know.
Real bad.
Well, I mean, yeah, he's a huge guy. I mean, he sounds like a giant. He just has this huge, but he has a really big overbite. So and kind of like a when he talks, you know. So
the Knicks got that kid from Kansas as a Buki. The big 7-footer?
Yeah.
Kalena, or not Kalena. Boca. Yeah, he's a monster. Kalena Azubuike, yeah.
New Orleans also got RJ Hampton. That's who I was thinking of.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be real good, too.
Oh, I've watched a lot of his highlights. It was interesting getting his take. They had him on like First Take or one of the ESPN shows before, like when he was making his decision, because he skipped college to go play overseas. He was one of the top 5 recruits in that class.
Oh yeah, he's real good.
So it's interesting to see. You would think more people would start taking that route, and it's looked like more people have, and especially with the G League being able to offer people now, that's going to take a lot away from college basketball. But it's interesting to see what it has done to their draft stock, because generally guys that don't go play college, it hurts them in the draft. Lonzo, it didn't really hurt.
It's more so because of exposure. Like you see, like everybody sees everybody playing in college basketball. Nobody watches the G League play. Nobody watches overseas basketball, and everybody sees Zion hammering on people every night.
Yeah,
like it's exposure.
God,
plus you can actually kind of calibrate the level of competition they're playing against too.
Exactly, too. Yeah.
What did you think about the draft overall? Anything stick out at you?
I don't know what's going to come of the Golden State Warriors with Wiseman. I think it was the right pick because they needed a big, but with Klay Thompson out again for another year, I really don't see him winning 20 games again because of that. Steph was injured a lot last year. I honestly don't they don't.
You think they'll be back in the lottery next year?
They might be. I think so.
I got them in the playoffs, man.
Woo, playoffs,
bro. Peep their starting 5. Steph
with it. Okay.
Steph.
Okay.
Andrew Wiggins, Kelly Oubre, Draymond, James Wiseman. That's a solid 5 right there, bro.
I mean, it's an okay 5. Oubre hasn't. Oubre is not as impressive to me as everybody thinks he is.
Oubre is exactly what that team needs, man. A wing defender that has grit. That's exactly what that team needs.
But they also need spacing. And
Oubre, I mean, they're definitely going to have to change their style of play for sure, because they don't have. I mean, other than Steph, it'll be interesting to see how they adapt with that. But I do think, Juan, it kind of sounds like you're off the James Wiseman bandwagon. You're not a big.
I'm looking up his highlights right now, and I don't know. I mean, when he was at Memphis, I don't know. I just never.
Well, he only played like a month. He only played like a month at Memphis.
Yeah. He didn't get much time.
I think he could be a beast, man. I think he's a perfect fit there. Like
I do too. I think it was the right pick because they needed a big, and I think he's going to pan out to be good. But without Klay, I don't think they have enough spacing to be what they were in the past.
Yeah, I'm not saying they're contenders for the title this year, but I still think they'll make the playoffs. Because I mean,
I do not.
They still might deal Andrew Wiggins. I've heard rumors of them engaging with Houston for James Harden. So they might not be done this offseason. They're in on guys like Marcus Gasol. They've still got a lot of good free agents that they're targeting. I think they'll be
still real early.
I think Wiseman will help out Draymond defensively, take a lot of the pressure off of him having to guard those bigger centers. I think Wiseman could be a really good player in the league, man. He's got a lot of tools.
I do too. Like I said, the spacing's not there for Steph, and honestly, Draymond might be one of my least favorite players in the league.
I'm not a big Draymond guy myself. Yeah,
hate him. And honestly, early on when he first got drafted, I was like, oh, that's a steal. Like he got drafted late or like mid first round,
maybe in the 20s.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's a steal because he was awesome at Michigan State. I love watching him there. And then he got into the league and he was a lot of fun. And then he decided to become a villain and like just shit talks. His teeth are huge. And like, there's nothing about him that I like anymore. Like he can't shoot. I feel like if he wasn't on the Warriors, he'd be a shit player.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah,
Draymond to me reminds me of like the uncle at a family gathering that shows up with like a flask who's already kind of lit, smells a little bit like smells a little bit like weed. He gets one dinner plate, makes a few jokes, insults people, and leaves.
Yeah, I just don't
and takes
like
it to go plate.
Yeah, I don't like his game. I don't like his persona. It's exactly what the Warriors needed at the time. But then they started winning and he started getting this attitude. It's the same with Steph. I really love Steph early on. and then he won the MVP, he won the championship, and then he started getting a little cocky. He started like
he went to 5 straight finals. Let that man high step. Let that man ball out.
But like your persona is like this like underappreciated small guard that just shoots threes out of nowhere. Like you're incredible. Everybody loves you. You're the good guy. And then you start getting cocky and like you're like, you're kind of douchey now.
That's
now
funny.
I like LeBron again. Like this is terrible. And I hated LeBron, but now I like him again. It's terrible.
I'm glad you brought that up. I was gonna actually ask you about that. I've kind of talked about my, complete 180 on LeBron James before. He used to be my favorite villain to root against in the league, but
LeBron James.
watching him for so many years, you can't help but appreciate what the guy has done for the game and what he has meant for the game. Like I used to root against him every single year until this past year. Like when they got AD, I jumped on the Lakers bandwagon hard because I wanted to see AD get a ring. And they had Rondo at the time too, which how about playoff Rondo, man? That was so much fun to watch that team.
Dirty. He's always so good.
Rondo.
I'm glad Rondo ended up signing with the Hawks.
Yeah.
I was worried about him going to the Clippers. The Clippers are my new favorite team to root against. So I didn't want to see Rondo there. I thought that would have just been weird. And I think Rondo is too good of friends now with LeBron and AD to do that to them. Honestly, I think is kind of why he didn't end up there.
He appreciates what LeBron and AD did for his career again.
Oh yeah. And I mean, even before he got to the Lakers, Rondo and AD together in New Orleans was a ton of fun. I mean, they had that series where they were the underdogs against the Blazers and they smacked them. I'm pretty sure they swept Portland that year when Boogie was playing.
That was a fun season.
Yeah, Rondo throwing that backdoor lob to AD. Whew.
Yeah.
I wonder if Rondo's going to be in the new Space Jam.
I haven't heard anything about that.
It'd be nice. Be nice.
I wonder when that's going to come out.
He could. Yeah, I know. I've been hearing Space Jam 2 for the past 5 years. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. But, the Hawks got Rondo and Gallinari now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think they got somebody else pretty solid too.
What do you think? I thought about this. Do you think they'll move Trey off the ball a little bit now that Rondo's there, which could really help his game?
If it was me, I would have Rondo leading the second unit, and I wouldn't play them together
ever
because maybe to end the game, but I mean, you're not. I don't think they brought Rondo in to play big minutes. I think they just brought him in to tutor Trey and just kind of be a good veteran presence in the locker room. Because I mean, even last year with the Lakers in the regular season, I mean, he didn't really play. Like he missed a lot, and I mean, he missed the first round of the playoffs last year. That's kind of been Rondo's an enigma, man. Because I mean, he was one of the best players in the playoffs when they won with the Celtics, and then a couple of years later, he's out of the league almost.
Yeah.
I mean, he got cut by Dallas during the season. They didn't even want him around.
He butted heads with the coach, though.
Right, but I mean, he's a strong personality, so that's a risk factor in bringing in a guy like Rondo. But yeah, I see him being a huge benefit for Trey. I don't see them playing alongside each other too much.
Okay. I was just a thought I had was like, I love Trae Young. I think he's awesome. I think he's the next Steph Curry.
He wishes he was the next Luka Doncic.
Luka is the man.
Dude, Luka's my guy. So one of the big things, it was hard for me to watch the Clippers and the Mavs last year in the playoffs because they started bully balling Luka, and that was like really frustrating for me. Like Marcus Morris when he stepped on his foot and when he got that flagrant foul when he hit him in the head and like pushed him over and stuff. So Dallas's main goal in the offseason was to bring on more dogs, in their words. Yeah. So their first round draft pick was a guy who's a former Aussie Rules football, like rugby style player. And they brought in, what's his name? James Johnson, I believe is his name. Yep. He's a second degree black belt.
Yeah. He's like 11-0 in karate bouts and 7-0 in the MMA.
In MMA, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like they brought in some protection to
bodyguards
to beef up with Luka. And they traded Seth Curry, who is kind of soft, great player, but they brought in Richardson to replace him, a guy with a little more grit. So they're trying to bring a little toughness to that team, and I love that.
I love the Mavs. I love Luka and I love Porzingis. I think they're a great 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
I think if Porzingis doesn't get hurt, that series may be over, if not a 7-game series.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Bro,
they were whooping their ass.
I love watching Boban on the court. He's just he's funny looking.
He's such a joke.
Talk about a monster.
Yeah, right.
He is a publicity stunt, is what he is.
No, he's a presence on the court, is what he is.
Oh my God.
Come on, man. He gave them good minutes in the postseason.
All right. So I'm going to go off topic for 2 seconds here. My first year coaching in college was a volunteer year at King. We had a 7'3", 320-pound center grad transfer from South Florida, right?
Okay.
His name was Jordan Mogbenhen. He is enormous. He didn't play unless the other team was taking the ball out of bounds underneath. He was a total publicity stunt. When he got in the game, the crowd went nuts. He scored 8 points total on the year.
Oh, man.
He was terrible. But he is now, I don't know if you guys still watch wrestling at all, WWE at all.
I do.
He is AJ Styles' bodyguard. Yeah, I know. He's AJ Styles' bodyguard right now.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, he's made multiple appearances on WWE right now. He's AJ Styles' humongous bodyguard. He's wearing a suit all the time. It's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but he went into pro wrestling after he graduated from King. But yeah, he is Boban. He is a publicity stunt that doesn't move, doesn't do anything.
No. Boban was all right, man. Don't hate. He's not a token, just garbage guy. Last year,
didn't he come
10
from
minutes
Philly?
a game? 10 minutes a game, 7 points and 5 rebounds in 10 minutes. That's production, bro.
He's 7'6". The ball should bounce to him. He should average 13 rebounds a game. He's enormous.
He only played 10 minutes a game.
You know how many shots how many shots go up in 10 minutes a game in the NBA? They only have 24-second shot clock. It's minimum two shots a minute. That's 20 shots. Most of them don't go in. He should
let's say half of them go in. And you get 20 in 10 minutes. That's 10 rebounds. So he's getting half of them. He's getting half of the available rebounds.
Oh my God!
But anyway, Dorian Finney-Smith got hurt last year along with Porzingis, so they were super depleted in the postseason. There,
they were.
I know Porzingis had to have surgery, I believe, on his meniscus, so I'm a little bit concerned about him this year. I just hope he's not one of those guys that his whole career is derailed by injuries. He's fun to watch.
I'm gonna go out and make a bold prediction right now. If Porzingis stays healthy, Luka Doncic is the MVP of the NBA this year.
Oh, I'm not arguing with that at all.
Yeah,
I think he's the MVP of the league. I think LeBron is the only one that could derail that. And LeBron is now the unpopular pick for MVP because he does it so consistently so well that nobody wants to vote for him anymore. But I think they'll manage LeBron's minutes more too because he's starting to get older and all that stuff. So he won't play as many games. Luka will play all the games. And if Porzingis is healthy, they'll be in the top 4 in the West, and he'll win MVP.
I got no arguments there, man. Luka can average.
You heard it here first.
20 and 10 and 20 and 10 and 10 almost if he really
almost
wants
10.
to.
He almost averaged a triple double.
I mean, he could probably average closer to 30. He was my big draft pick in my fantasy basketball league last year.
Good pick.
And pre-quarantine, he was like one of the top. He might have been the top scorer in the league overall.
He was really good.
But yeah, I think the Clippers have kind of taken a step back this offseason. Losing Montrez. They did just sign Serge Ibaka last night, so that was a really good get for them.
That was a good get.
trying to find somebody with some size to match up with AD. I mean, I still take AD all day in that, but it's better than Marcus Morris trying to guard him or something. I'm not a Marcus Morris guy by any means.
I think the Lakers kind of downgraded when they lost Dwight and brought in Montrez, though, because I thought Dwight was a huge piece for the Lakers. Even though he got in foul trouble a lot, him and JaVale McGee was a great 1-2 punch at center while AD could play the 4.
Especially in the Nuggets series when the Joker started going off, that was when Dwight moved into the starting lineup and just bullied him. I mean, it's exactly what they needed. Yeah, he was a very important piece of that team last year. The way it all proceeded with him leaving. So here's my theory, and this is just purely conjecture on my part. But so Dwight came back. Dwight was pretty much out of the league. Nobody wanted to sign him. Lakers signed him to a 10-day contract. Hey, if you act the way we want you to, we're going to give you the minimum or whatever, and we'll keep you on for as long as you're in good behavior. Dwight got his shit together, and he had a really good season, and he was good for the team last year. But there were points, specifically like before the bubble, it looked like he might not go down to the bubble. And I'm not saying he was a huge distraction, but you saw that he's got a personality off the court to where it can be distracting for the team.
Yeah.
So free agency is about to begin, and Dwight's like, I would love to come back to LA, but I'm not playing for free anymore. Next thing you know, he's tweeting, I can't wait to be back with the Lakers. And then the next thing you know, he signs with the Sixers, and the Lakers have Montrezl Harrell.
Yeah.
My guess is his agent was trying to get him to position himself like, I'm not coming back unless I get X amount of money. And the Lakers are like, okay, well, you're not that valuable. We'd rather bring in a young stud like Montrez, who's going to entice AD to sign for longer because it's more young talent that's going to be here for long.
Yeah.
Potentially. I know they signed him to a short deal, but there's the option for that.
I'm not a Montrezl Harrell fan, by the way, anyway.
I'm not either. I'm not either. I think he's a good basketball player. I just personally, the punk ass white boy thing did it for me, pushed me over the edge there.
God, it rubbed me the wrong way.
And dating back to his time at U of L, I was never a Montrez fan, but I do think he's a good basketball player, and he did give the Lakers a really good deal signing for less than $10 million a year. I mean, that's big time. So I definitely agree that Dwight was a huge piece in their team and was clutch for them last year, even though when he started, he still only played like 10 minutes or so and didn't end the game.
Yeah.
But I think overall they've gotten way better this offseason.
Really?
You don't think so?
I mean, I don't know. You lose a guy like Rondo, you lose a guy like Dwight, and you only bring in Harrell. And who else did they bring in? Oh, they got Schroeder. Schroeder's a good piece. That's a great piece.
Schroeder to me is like a younger Rondo, not as high basketball IQ, but much better shooter.
Yeah.
He shot like 37% from 3 last year. Like he's a player, man.
I know Danny Green didn't have a great year, but I feel like he was a consistent person on the floor for them. And I think Avery Bradley leaving is a big piece too. They lost both those guys.
I was really worried about their backcourt until KCP re-signed.
Yeah.
I think locking him back up, because if you had to pick him or Danny Green, I mean, I think you'd pick KCP all day. He's younger, probably more athletic, shot a much higher percentage last year during the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Hell of a defender. I don't think he gets enough credit. And Danny Green, you can lump in this as well. They played the Blazers in the first round. You got Dame and CJ. I know CJ was banged up, but Dame was the hottest player in the league at that
Unbelievable.
point. Round 2, you've got Harden and Westbrook, and they did a really good job of guarding those guys.
Yeah, that wasn't even a fun series to watch.
Yeah, I know. After game 1, it was a blowout.
Yeah, it was miserable.
So I think bringing back KCP was huge for them. So they got, I mean, Bron is starting point guard. Schroeder will come off the bench and probably end games too, I would think. I'm be curious to see who their 5 is to end games, because last year they were playing Caruso a lot and Danny Green. So I think it's going to be like Bron, AD, maybe Montrez, definitely KCP, and then either Schroeder or Caruso, and then maybe replace Montrez with a guard depending on the matchup.
Do you think Caruso looks like the worst Y League player of all time when you look at him, but then he's good at basketball? Because the dude is balding. Like, what the hell, bro? Like, you have so much money. Go do something about your head.
He's a cult hero, man.
He's a balding goat, but oh my god. like it kills me when some of these dudes in the NBA, they make millions of dollars and they have jacked up teeth or like terrible hair, something just bad, and you're like, why? Spend the grand and go get something done. Like, what? Why do you look like that?
I don't love his game offensively. I like that he doesn't force a lot of shots, and he does try to get to the rim because he's an athlete. But I mean, he's a tenacious defender. He was big for them.
Plays hard
in closing out games last year. LeBron,
and I love his celebration. Love that when he dunks.
But they picked up Wesley Matthews too. So there's your Danny Green replacement. I mean, he's bigger, possibly a better defender.
I think it would have
shot a higher percentage last year.
If they had Avery Bradley in the playoffs, I think it would have been even worse. Like, they would have been destroying everyone because he's a great defender.
It's a great get for the Heat.
Yeah,
he's going to fit in really well there.
Yes, he will.
Dude, imagine, okay, Goran Dragic is back, Avery Bradley, Jimmy Butler, Bam, and
either Duncan or Hero. But they came off. Duncan started, but Hero came off the bench.
Well, if you're going to bring Avery Bradley in, one of those guys is going to get less minutes, right?
Yeah.
Be curious to see how that lineup plays out. I feel like they got a good, because they lost Jay Crowder this offseason. I feel like they got a big guy, though. They brought Dragic back. They brought Mo Harkless in. He was a Philly draft pick originally. Yeah.
Salty.
Well, Mo Harkless, we drafted. So when I lived in Philly, I tried so hard to be a Sixers fan because I'd never lived in a city with an NBA team. And the Sixers had Andre Iguodala in his prime, Lou Williams when he first came into the league. They were fun
too.
Play against Lou?
Lou Will, in high school. He played for South Gwinnett, and he was unbelievable.
Really?
Dang.
Yeah, he played for South Gwinnett. We played him in the tournament down in Florida, City of Palms. And he had it was him and Mike Mercer he went on to play at Georgia the next year. He was great wing. Both of them were top 5 recruits. And this was Lou's junior year. It's my sophomore year. And we were the only team to beat them all year. They went on to win the 5A state championship in Georgia. They were like 37-1.
Damn.
And, yeah, they were unbelievable. And
that was when y'all had like Willie and Harrison and all that.
Yeah, that's that sophomore year that I was talking about, that we were really, really good. But
it was a good ass team.
Yeah, we were really, really good. And that tournament was like I said, that year, basketball-wise, was the best basketball I ever played. Not me personally, but competition-wise. We played in the City of Palms Classic. First round, LaMarcus Aldridge. Second round, Lou Williams and Mike Mercer. Third round, we played number 2 team in the nation out of California, Westchester, with Gabriel Pruitt and somebody else. I mean, they were unbelievable too. And then we played a couple of NBA players out of Dayton, team out of Dayton. And if we beat Westchester, we would have played Big Baby Glenn Davis in the championship, who played for LSU Lab. I mean, that tournament was stacked.
Dang. Where was that?
City of Palms Classic in Fort Myers, the best tournament in the nation.
Damn.
Yeah, it was super fun. And we were like the undersized, no big names on our team, so like the whole crowd got behind us. It was super cool.
Oh, this was up. Did you ball out any or
I did. I was 4 for 6 from 3 against LaMarcus Aldridge. Had 12 points there.
Nice.
I had 9 against Lou Will, and then I think I had 9 against Westchester, and like I was that skinny little white kid playing against all these huge black dudes, and they were like, come on, Hewitt, let's go. Like everybody was getting behind me every time I shot it. And
almost like LaMelo Ball when he played with Lonzo and LiAngelo back in the day.
Exactly.
Like they bring him in, he's this tiny little kid and he's just like jacking up shots from half court and draining them.
Yeah, exactly. But the coolest memory of that tournament, Larry Bird was there basically scouting LaMarcus Aldridge and Lou Will. And he
see the
on
bird.
the baseline. Yeah, he talked to me.
What?
Like, during the game. Yeah, it was the weirdest thing. I got it on camera and everything. It was crazy. But I was taking the ball out, and I had hit 2 threes prior, and I was taking the ball out right in front of him. And I was passing into my point guard, and I'm like walking towards him. It was out of time. I'm walking towards him, and we catch eye contact. I'm like, oh my God. And so I get like super nervous, and I throw the ball in. As I'm getting the ball from the ref, I hear him say, "Way to shoot the ball, son." It's like,
what were you like? Thanks, Larry Bird.
No, I didn't say shit. I didn't say shit. I threw the ball in, and I like as I'm running, I'm like, oh my God. It was Larry. And like I
should turn around and be like, you taking notes back there, old man?
Yeah, right.
In your face, Larry Bird.
No, and you can hear my parents like in the camera, they're filming, and like they see me look back and smile, and I look back and they're like, Larry said something to him. Larry Bird said something. They're freaking out too.
I can see your dad freaking out.
Oh yeah, my dad was like, oh my God, he talked to my son. Oh my God, Larry talk.
Do you really think, like, overall, do you think the Lakers got worse this offseason so far?
I mean, I just don't. I think Harrell is a good player. I don't think he's as good a fit for Dwight as Dwight was.
Well, they still have JaVale.
Yeah, they still got JaVale, but JaVale barely played in the playoffs at all last year.
Well, he started until the Denver series.
I don't know, but he, like you said, he played, like Dwight and him split 10 to 15 minutes a game. So like he played 10 minutes max for most.
That's
of the
why
years.
I don't think the Dwight thing is too big a deal, because he just wasn't getting that much burn. And so now if they need that role, they still have JaVale, who's a good locker room presence. I mean, he was on those Warriors teams when they were going to the finals, and he was their center.
He's so goofy looking.
He's so goofy, but you can't teach 7 foot plus. You know,
can't teach 7 feet. That's right.
They've got a couple more free agent spots to fill. From what from the rumors I hear,
they could potentially have very, very good team again. But
I hear they're in on Trevor Ariza.
Ariza has been on 4 different teams in a week and a half.
Hey, it happens, man. I hear they're in on Ariza and Gasol, so they need a center and a shooter. What are your thoughts on the Bucks?
All right, the Bucks.
Well, wrap up. Sorry, finish up there if you want.
Yeah, the Lakers. I feel like the loss of their 3 veteran guards is going to be tough to replace. They lost Avery Bradley, they lost Danny Green, and they lost Rajon Rondo. Understanding that they brought KCP back, and they're bringing in Dennis Schroeder, which is big. But
Wesley Matthews.
And Wesley Matthews. Wesley Matthews is good. He's a really good player. But when you talk about what they lost, they were Avery Bradley and Danny Green and Rajon Rondo are very well known to be extremely good defensive players. And they were very good on the ball, funneling people toward Dwight, toward AD, toward LeBron, and toward the bigs. I don't know if Wesley Matthews and the other guards that they're bringing in are like that defensively, you know? So, and KCP is a great defensive, like you said. But you said that they have some free agent slots to still fill. So they could still very much be the favorite again. They should be the favorite again.
I think they've increased their lead over the rest of the league. I really do think they're better with the pickups they made. I'm really curious to see how Schroeder fits in, but they still got Caruso back as another defender. And I mean, at the end of the day, their point guard is LeBron James these days anyway.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
What do you think, who do you think could potentially knock them off this year? Like, who do you see as their competition going into the season?
I mean, the Clippers are the obvious choice with I honestly, I'm with you. I'm down on the Clippers, but with Paul George and Kawhi, I know you're not high on either one of those. you like Paul George, but you don't think he kind of disappears in the playoffs lately.
I got into some arguments last year with people saying Kawhi is like way better than LeBron and stuff.
He's
and
not.
I never bought that at all.
He's not.
Yeah.
He's not a better all around player. Defensively, he's up there with him. I don't think he's as good of a passer, he's just offensively. And again, it's his experience. Kawhi's younger. He's a lot younger.
Well, yeah.
So he doesn't have the experience that LeBron has. But
I was really impressed last year with LeBron's ability to take over and transition into being a point guard and just kind of refining his role. He's a much different player. He's shooting a lot more threes and at a better percentage. He's driving to the hole less. He's kind of picking his spots in a more intelligent way. When he does want to get you in and lock in defensively, I still think he's probably
as good as anybody.
Like watching LeBron chase down people and block shots at the rim is one of the best things. There was a game in the playoffs where he had like 4 blocks in the second half in that one game.
Yeah.
I think it was against Denver.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just
like the fact that he's got another ball player, like another all-star that is not on ball dominant. It's the first time he's ever had that. Because in the past, he's always had a Kyrie Irving that wants the ball in his hands, or Dwayne Wade likes to have the ball in his hand. He's never been a primary ball handler on any of his teams, even though he is LeBron. He handles the ball whenever he wants. But
except when he was in Cleveland originally, he was probably the primary ball handler a lot. But when he's been winning, he hasn't been. Exactly.
Like early on in his career, he was kind of the point guard. They still had Delonte West and Gibson there as their point guards. He was never considered the point guard on those teams. He is considered the point guard on his Lakers team now. So, and again, he's got a superstar that doesn't handle the ball like a guard. He's a post up person and he's a face up. He's AD. He can do whatever he wants, but he's one of those guys that I think it's the best fit that LeBron's ever had for an all-star teammate that he's ever had.
I completely agree.
Yeah. Chris Bosh is similar, but not as dominant as AD was. So, but yeah, AD is a perfect fit for LeBron.
Yeah, I was ecstatic when they first made that trade, and just so glad it worked out. I huge AD fan since he came through at UK. Love seeing him do well. Love seeing him now be on a winner and doing well personally as well.
Me too.
I like that he can shoot the ball, but I don't love him hanging around the 3-point line.
No, I like that he can expand when he needs to. Like if somebody's just not respecting his jumper at all, he'll shoot it. But I love that he likes the 15 feet and in range. Like he likes facing up, posting up the 15 feet and going at people. So I see him as a more athletic Tim Duncan, honestly.
I could totally see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the Clippers have taken a step back losing Trez, and I think they overpaid a little bit for Marcus Morris, but obviously he was the guy they wanted. I guess because he's a little more versatile, can shoot the 3. Montrez doesn't shoot the ball at all. No. But I struggle to see the Clippers, unless they make another offseason move, being able to win a 7-game series. Really anybody in the West at this point. I was going to say the Warriors, but without Clay, I don't see that happening.
Me neither.
Houston is out. The Blazers will be good this year, but they won't be able to.
Yeah, they got to do something in free agency. Like they got to get a big name. And I don't see it happening. The Nuggets could be okay. They could be pretty good if they get one or two more pieces.
I was a little bit disappointed that Jeremy Grant left the Nuggets because I thought he was huge for them, especially matching up against LeBron. They brought in what's his name from JaMychal Green to replace him at a much cheaper clip.
He's pretty good too.
He is. He is pretty good, and I think that's another loss that the Clippers are going to feel next year as well. Yeah. They lost Trez and JaMychal Green, who are their only 2 real 4s. Other than Marcus Morris, but like Pat Patterson's going to be getting hella minutes this year, I guess.
Yeah. Yes, he will.
I love Pat. Don't get me wrong. Rodney Hood's back with the Blazers. Blazers picked up Derek Jones from the Heat. They gave him $19 million on 2 years. That's overpaying big time.
Probably. But
Rodney Hood got injured. They brought Melo back. I know CJ was hurt in the postseason last year, so him and Dame coming back. I mean, those are my favorite. Again.
That's my favorite point guard, shooting guard combo in the entire league. They're so much fun to watch.
Interesting.
Do you have another one that's better?
I was trying to think. Yeah, no, I don't. I mean, when they're healthy, John Wall and Bradley Beal, I enjoy watching just because there's a cat in there. 1-2 combo, that'd be hard. That'd be hard for me.
To pop quiz. Juan, I'll let you try to answer this first. I know you won't be able to, but Bales, you might be able to do this.
Okay.
What are the 2 schools that Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum graduated from?
Oh shit, Dame.
Then what? I'm gonna like San Diego State or something.
Dame Lillard is from Weber State.
Weber State.
And CJ McCollum is from Lehigh.
Lehigh. I was gonna say Creighton
University.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? Best 1-2 combo in the nation comes from those 2 schools.
Dude, what about Fred VanVleet getting a huge contract and being like the biggest contract for a guy that didn't get drafted in NBA history?
Yeah, for the Tampa Bay Raptors.
That's pretty wild. That is going to be wild with them playing down there. Yeah.
The Tampa Raptors.
Yeah.
I was curious to see if VanVleet was going to go anywhere. So the West, I think, will be down because some of their guys have gone over. Houston has gone down.
Yeah.
The East is good. I mean, you got Milwaukee coming back. I honestly think they big time.
I can see the Mavs giving the Lakers some trouble.
You think so?
If they stay healthy, I think they got enough pieces that nobody can stop Luka. He's so crafty on a Euro step in the lane that you don't do anything with it.
But in the playoffs, though, it's going to be Bron on Luka.
Yeah, I understand that.
It's a tough matchup.
But as much as NBA teams switch everything, it's just a matter of time that Luka's not guarded by LeBron, and then he's going to go to work.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. Because Miami in the finals, the games they won, they were really just running a screen and roll with Jimmy, getting the switch that they wanted on a smaller guy, and letting Jimmy go to work on Caruso or KCP or just a smaller dude. So,
and that's exactly what happened on his last second 3 that he hit again. I forget who he hit it against. Luka's 3. They started Kawhi on him, and it was against the Clippers. They started with Kawhi on
and Paul George switched it
exactly, and then he just wetted him up. I was like,
dude, I was going nuts when that shot went down.
I was too. Oh my god, it was crazy. That was a hell of a shot.
Phoenix should be better this year. They got CP3, D-Book, DeAndre Ayton. They just signed Jay Crowder, so that's a solid 4.
Mm-hmm. Devin Booker is a superstar. He's awesome.
Yeah. He's really good.
Yeah.
I'll be curious to see.
Booker's great. Ayton, I think, is going to be a force too. I think he's really good.
I had Ayton on my fantasy squad last year. He was a beast for me.
Yeah, he's solid. He's a 20 and 15 guy.
You know, CP3 flourishes with a good big man, so he's only going to make Ayton that much better. Oh, by the way, throwback CP3 jersey today.
Oh, I know. That playoff team was so much fun with him and Tyson Chandler just throwing lobs everywhere. Oh my gosh.
That's like all he had. He had nobody else on that team.
No, they had him throwing lobs to him and then David West to the mid-range game. It was unbelievable. Those were the only 3 options they had.
Yeah, and that it was a Mecca Okafor. Bad times.
Yeah. Bad.
Mecca Okafor. God.
I remember when they tried to trade him to the Lakers and the league overturned it. That was
no, he went to UConn. I can't stand him.
You're right.
He ruined Duke's season a few years. However, one funny thing, whenever I was like we were like sophomores in sophomore to like senior year, I would go into Applebee's and other places. They're like, yeah, you have a table? Yeah, I'm here for the party of 4. I called in. The last name is Okafor. They're like, Oka what? I'm like, yeah, the name is Okafor. It's weird because they can pronounce that a lot easier than Maldonado. They're like, oh yeah, Okafor, yeah, we got you right over here. Like Maldonado, they're like, we don't see that name in the list. Are you sure you called?
Nope.
Positive. Called twice.
Who do you think comes out of the East this year? Who do you like out of that division?
The Heat, man, they're super good again. Like they got all the same pieces back, and they're really good. The Bucks obviously are going to be good because they added Drew Holiday. They lost one of the Lopez twins. I think the better one.
No, they lost Robin.
Oh yeah,
they also got rid of George Hill. They got rid of
and Drew
Bledsoe.
And Bledsoe too.
And they got rid of my guy Ersan Ilyasova, who's an unsung bench player. But they also traded away 3 first-rounders.
Yeah,
for Drew Holiday. Nice. That's a reach for me, man.
Sure. Yeah.
I know their goal is to get Giannis to sign long-term.
Giannis is going to Miami.
I'm be curious to see next season's offseason. There's a lot of big free agents. You think so?
Where do you think AD is going to go? He's very close to the vest, holding off on what he's going to do. Everybody just assumes he's going to Lakers. Yeah.
Oh, he's back to the Lakers for sure, man. 100%. Dude, he's waiting to see who all they. So one of their big goals this offseason was to get younger. They've definitely done that because they want AD to see that the future is bright in LA and that if he stays for 4 more years, they've got young guys that can grow with him. KCP, Schroeder, Harrell.
Agreed.
I don't see why would he leave? Why would he not come back?
I don't know why he would leave, but it's interesting that he's taking this much time to make the decision.
It seems like him and LeBron have a really tight relationship too.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. But
do you think
who you think comes out of the East?
Yeah, so I'm my tendency is to lean towards Miami as well. Love Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler's good on YouTube. He's got a lot of behind the scenes training stuff of him and his trainer working out and stuff. He's a funny guy.
Tyler Hero.
I love Tyler Hero and Bam. They got 2 cats.
He's good at the basketball.
He is good at the basketball.
He's really good. Tyler Hero's really, really good. I like watching him play.
Yeah,
I think fun to watch too. I think Philly will be better this year. Bringing in Dwight. I love the fit with Tyrese Maxey. I think Seth Curry fits in well there.
Doc Rivers is going to be a good fit too. I love Doc Rivers.
Absolutely.
Rivers. He gets a bad rap because he goes on some of these teams that have superstars and they expect him to just win the championship in year 1, and he just it's just not him.
Doc Rivers.
Yeah.
Doc.
But yeah, I think Philly will be better. I don't necessarily see them coming out. I think I wouldn't be surprised if Milwaukee exits early again because I just don't think Giannis is he's so talented, but he doesn't have the basketball IQ. You can tell he didn't grow up playing and watching the game of basketball. So I just don't think he's not savvy in the fourth quarter in a close game. His tendency is just to barrel and get to the rim.
How many times have we seen him hit a clutch shot? Not a layup or a dunk, a shot.
Never. Yeah, never. Yeah, that's why I don't think they'll be in the finals. I'm not big on Milwaukee. I think the other team in the East for me, I know a lot of people are going to say Brooklyn. I am not a Brooklyn guy.
Not enough balls are on the court for that group.
Not at all. And especially if they do make a deal for Harden,
oh my God, it's going to be terrible.
There's no way that would work. I think the other team out of the East for me is Boston. Boston just signed Jeff Teague and they signed Tristan Thompson. I think Thompson's a huge get for the big Celtics.
One. Yeah, that's a big one.
So they've got I love their young wings. Tatum obviously is a stud. I think Jaylen Brown is a beast. They still got Marcus Smart. They still got Kemba. I think they match up well with the Heat. That was a great series last year. I think both teams have gotten better. I think they'll probably be the 2 come playoff time that are the toughest to deal with over there.
I think so too. I'm big on Jaylen Brown. I love Jaylen Brown. Tatum's a bitch, so whatever. No, I like Tatum too. I I like the fact that he was like a second-year player and he dunked on LeBron and just
that was awesome.
Never had any back down. And there's so many guys that kind of like back in the day when people would back down from Jordan. There's people that back down from LeBron, and he was not one of them, and I love that about him. So
Duke Blue Devil.
I understand
they've got some good depth. They had a pretty good draft last year. They brought in that big guy from Williams from Texas A&M, I believe.
And I like him too. He is springy. That dude's
played some big minutes for them in the postseason last year.
And they've got Taco, so that's all you need is Taco.
another freaking media thing. God.
I was gonna say Grant Williams from Tennessee.
Yeah, he's solid too.
He gave him some decent minutes. I think I like their core. I like what Boston has done. I still think it's hilarious how Boston went to the Eastern Conference Finals. They get Kyrie, and they have a worse season. Kyrie leaves, and they're back in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yep. Dookie, when you Dookie, you suck it. Kyrie.
No. Uncle Drew.
Kyrie's a cancer.
Kyrie's not a cancer. He's a fabulous person.
I am with you 100% on that, Hewitt. I just don't think he's a good presence on a team. I don't like his style of play. If it wasn't for LeBron, no way he would have had the title.
Uncle Drew.
No way.
I did like the Uncle Drew movie, though.
He is a great individual basketball player.
Mm-hmm.
That is all I can say that's positive about him.
Yeah.
And I was rooting for KD and the Warriors when they were battling LeBron in Cleveland. I've completely flipped on KD, though. Like, completely flipped on KD.
I thought it was the biggest bitch move of all time for him to sign with the Warriors. Yeah. After the Warriors beat them.
Poor guy's losing his hair. Go easy on him.
Is he?
Oh, have you seen his hair? Oh, his hair is terrible.
It's thinning.
It can't be worse than LeBron's, though.
Well, LeBron, he got it cured. But yeah, no. This.
How about when
this one's bad?
LeBron was trying to wear a headband to like cover it up, and he had like an implant on or something.
Yep.
And it like moved, and AD was like, "Bron, your hair, bro."
I'm obviously not anywhere close to going bald, but I just don't get it. Like I've always said to myself, because like my brother is bald, I'm like, if I ever just start going bald, it's all coming off. Like I don't understand why people try to hold on to it, and they have the around the back, it's like it's gone.
I'm so frustrated with Caruso. Why I'm so frustrated with Caruso. Like, why are you doing that to yourself?
Oh man. So funny. Funny.
I think I love watching it. I like watching the NBA playoffs a lot better more than I like watching the regular season, but I still like watching individual matchups. Like you said, it's hard to have a team when you're from Lexington. There's not a team around. I know one of our good friends is a big Memphis Grizzlies fan because I was the closest one, but I tend to go towards players more than I do. Like if I like a certain player, I mean, you guys have known me as a Carmelo Anthony fan from the get-go. So when he went to the Blazers, I was like, yeah, I love him. That's awesome. That's a great fit. I wasn't huge on Melo in New York, but Denver Nuggets Melo was so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's kind of how it is when you don't have a team in your city. You kind of gravitate towards players, and Keith and I are kind of more towards we gravitate towards the Cats. Like when you get a Kentucky guy on a team, that's who you root for.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you're the same way with Duke. Like you like when Dukies do well in the league, and that's
for sure. Yeah, I mean,
who do you root for in the league? Like, who are your favorite players?
I don't. I mean, it's the same with me. And again, I think it's just because we all grew up in Lexington. It's the same with me with NFL teams. I mean, now, I keep up with the Bengals just because I've worked with them and stuff. But
that's my team.
It's like I keep up with the Bengals and the Browns just because. Yeah, right. Yeah, Joe.
He's nice.
Like for NFL, I keep up how teams, the Browns and the Bengals, but other than that, I just keep up with players in the NFL just like I do the NBA. I watched a lot of Pelicans games this year just because, I mean, at any one time there's two minimum players, two Dukies on the court at the same time.
I didn't even realize there's 3 Dukies starting for the Pelicans now.
They had 5 they had 5 players. Or 6.
Zion.
They had 6. They had
Ingram and who else?
They had
JJ.
Frank Jackson, JJ Redick, Jahlil Okafor, Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson. Yeah, so they could have had all 5 starting lineup.
Where's JJ going?
JJ? He's staying.
He's staying in New Orleans.
Is he? I thought he signed with somebody else.
Yeah, no, he signed a pretty big deal with New Orleans. I think he's gonna finish out there. But no, I like, for instance, Portland. I had an interest in them just because of Rodney Hood. Mavs with Seth Curry, wherever the Duke players go, I watch. Memphis, was cool because they got John Morant, obviously not a Dookie, but to see him with Tyus Jones and then Grayson Allen, there's a lot of young talent. That's pretty cool. I know Tyus got injured, but that was kind of cool to see. But yeah,
what's your opinion on the Kings, Keith?
Harry Giles and the Kings.
I don't really have a huge opinion on the Kings. I think they it seems like there's some disarray somewhere within that organization. I think they've got good young talent. I mean, I'm a big De'Aaron Fox guy. Shout out to De'Aaron getting hella paid this offseason.
Yeah, he got a huge contract extension. It's huge.
I think Buddy Hield is a good player, but I don't know that they're going to be able to keep him. It seems like he hates playing for that team. I don't know why. Bogdanovich is a good player, but I think it seems like they're trying everything they can to deal him right now. I like their down low, with Bagley. I think Bagley's a beast when he's healthy. I think Harry Giles could be a beast too. They're definitely a ways away. But
I think they got some good young talent.
When saying Bogdanovich kind of sparked something on me, and then we talked a lot of Lakers, but we didn't mention Kyle Kuzma at all. Because the reason I bring that up is because with Bogdanovich, there's been a lot of talk about, since the deal with the Bucks fell through, maybe doing a sign and trade involving Kuzma and Bogdanovich switching. I've also heard that maybe KCP would be involved in that as well. That's too much for me. But if it's just Kuzma and picks, I'm 100% in. Yeah,
I would like that a lot. I like Bogdanovich. I think he's good. I think he would replace a very good replacement for the Danny Green, Avery Bradley gap that they would have at the Lakers. Like, he would fit perfectly.
So yeah, if I would love to see them move Kuzma. It doesn't seem like a great locker room presence, and at this point in his career is probably when you're going to get the most value out of him. So, but if they deal KCP with him, that's too much in my opinion. I think he's too valuable. But we just checked and it looks like Bogdanovich might be going to Atlanta, so could be just.
They've been pretty active.
Yeah, Atlanta's been super active.
Yeah, I like it.
But yeah, super excited. Love the off season. I'm sure there'll be some more moves here before free agency's done. We still got a couple of good players out there. Always love the action. I loved the bubble, enjoyed it. I'm glad they were able to finish the season. I thought that would have been really detrimental if they weren't able to crown a champion last year.
Yep. Felt a little AAU-ish, honestly. It was pretty cool.
It did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
And made for some pretty good competitive basketball, which was cool. It was cool to see.
As much as I like the crowds, it was still very, very cool to see. It was neat.
And they did a good job of mixing in the crowd noise, and I think that helped a lot. It was also really cool the way they did the virtual fans too. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, but, it was great to see Weezy blowing smoke as
that was hilarious.
True to form. I loved it.
Yeah,
absolutely loved it.
It was cool.
Awesome. Well, yeah. I loved hearing all about the NBA and what you guys think. I'm not, that much of an avid fan when it comes to the NBA, but I do pay attention to it. It was awesome. Loved hearing some of the stories about college. I actually didn't know that about that tournament in Fort Myers. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Played against a lot of big competition.
A lot of big name players. It was a lot of fun.
Awesome. Well, Brian Hewitt coming in from Bristol, Tennessee today. Thank you again. again, we're hoping to have this, kind of like a reoccurring segment, especially when we get into college basketball, especially the thick of it. We're about to have it start next week, which is exciting. Definitely. And obviously NBA, tons of trades going on right now. Just had the draft very active, so it was great to have you on and talk to you today. We appreciate your time. And any last things that you would like to say here? I'm on the Bodacious Exchange.
I love the podcast. I really enjoyed being on it. You guys are obviously two of my best friends. They're both at my wedding, which was an incredible week.
Probably the most fun wedding of all time.
It was incredible
of all time.
But I mean, shout out to Bodacious Exchange and Steve Ledbetter with a great Halloween special. If you haven't caught that one, you need to go watch that. It was awesome. Every time I could listen to something, I was listening to that for 3 days straight. It was great. So it was a lot of fun. He did a great job. Didn't really like the Monstars comment, but whatever. I'm just gonna let that go. No big deal.
Now we've got him live here in the flesh.
I know.
That's
awesome.
I
didn't really appreciate that too much, but it's fine. It's whatever.
I'm sorry.
I know we had talked about a little bit.
Yeah, don't say we're sorry.
I said I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're not sorry. You're sorry. You're not sorry is what you are.
No, I'm saying don't try to lump me in with that. I didn't say shit.
Oh, here we go. But anyway, that's all. And we're not going to bring up the ET phone home comments when I was playing against Dunbar my senior year that you started as a chance.
We'll save that for the next Hewitt appearance.
Exactly. All right.
Yeah.
So, but it was a lot of fun, and I really appreciate you guys having me on, and love you guys.
Yeah, right back at you, man. Love you, man. And everybody watching at home, please subscribe, like, comment, let us know what's up. We're on all social media at this point except Twitter, so find us on there. Just started the Instagram. And as always, thank you for watching, listening, and peace. Aliens are real. Go read the Pentagon profile.